We're doing a new best ball draft for the 2026 NFL season. Before we get into it and some other stuff, we'll discuss some TV shows after the draft. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, wearing something from the merch store is just a light blue, powder blue Walter football t-shirt. Some would say this is the fanciest shirt I own, and they would be right. You can get it at the merch store here. You could change the colors of these shirts. That's how I got it here. 10% off sale right now. So we have these shirts you can turn into long sleeve, hoodie, women's tank top, infant onesie. We have mugs. We have our famous apron. We have playing cards, mouse pads, blankets, baby bibs, etc. All 10% off. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks at the College Years, where I made fun of a lot of people, including these 6 on the cover. And then my first book was The Safety and a Field Goal, which is a top 5 topic book about the NFL. And please consider super chats and super stickers. That is the best way to support the show. It really is, because YouTube really pays nothing. Like I learned a week ago, or actually less than a week ago, that Spotify pays like 8x what YouTube pays. So we're going to put our stuff on Spotify and hope that produces more. But if you're watching YouTube, super chat, super stickers would be great. A week ago today, we had a $10 super chat from Kevin Kovac and a $1 super chat from Kenny. So thank you guys for your support. But we're joined by Mike Luchene from NFLRoughDraft.com. Mike, how are you?
I'm great. Dynasty fantasy football season is finally almost wrapped up for me. I talk all the time about how I have like 50 dynasty leagues. I run like 13 of them, and as I've gotten older, it's really a pain, because you have like 3 people who drop out every year, and you have to find replacements. And when I started this, I was in my 20s, and I had all the time in the world. Now I've got kids, I've got a business, a job, all kinds of stuff, and I've got 2 drafts going right now, 2 rookie drafts going right now, and my last spot. So actually, the guy is known as like the unofficial 5th member of the band Fish. He does the lights for them. This guy, they call him CK5.
Okay.
He's very hard to get a hold of, and I finally got a hold of him. So my last dynasty rookie draft is starting next week, and it's such a relief that I don't have to worry about that again until after the 2027 NFL draft. So I'm great. And this week, I'm finally in a point now where I have to, or I'm not having to answer whether or not I watched the World Cup game from everybody who I come in contact with. So that's kind of nice too, because I have never watched a World Cup game.
I was about to say, I assume the answer is no.
Yes.
I have watched 1 minute of it, and not by choice. I was at my parents' house. My kids go over there every Friday and Saturday. My dad's into it, so he was watching it. And I was tying my shoes, and my shoes happened to be in the room. So that is the 1 minute I saw. And I'm not joking, Mike. I'm not joking at all. In that 1 minute, there were 3 flops, 3. And 3 guys at various times on the ground, like acting like they're dying. And yeah, and my dad, I'm like, the second one, I'm laughing, I'm like, this is a joke. And then the third one, I go, this is the gayest sport ever. And my dad's like, what do you mean? He's really hurt. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then of course, like the guy just gets up like right away, as if nothing happened.
I know you're not a hockey guy, okay? I get that, and I'm a big hockey fan. That's literally a penalty in hockey. Yeah. If you embellish something like what I guess happens every couple of minutes in soccer, it's literally a penalty on you for embellishment. Yeah. So whatever. Look, I give those guys a lot of credit. That's a lot of running. You have to be in great shape. Whatever. It's just not my deal. Like, the games are all 0-0 and there are no shots on goal.
Yeah, I mean, why not allow something with your upper half of your body, except for head shots or something? Like, there's why limit the sport to half your body? It makes no sense to me. It's so boring. Like, the field's so big, they have offside penalties. Like, why not just allow guys to hang back? You're gonna have more scores. I don't know. And Andy yesterday, also not a fan of soccer, I don't think, but he was like, this is 2026. Like, we can count down the clock, not up, and we'll know when the game's over. Not like We have 25 minutes of extra time or something. I saw a funny meme on X. It says wife will be ready in 45 minutes plus extra time.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, actually, most true from what I hear from most husbands from their wives. I give my wife. I'll give her credit for this. She is I've never seen her be late. She's so prompt. She's like that's like her one thing. Like she wants to be prompt all the time. If I'm like 3 minutes late, I don't hear. I'll hear about it for like 2 weeks. So like it is crazy. So all right, we're about to be on the clock. Well, this is about to start in 8 seconds. I believe you did odd and then even. So do you want to do odd this week?
Sure. Yeah. So pick one pretty easy here.
Yeah. Well, we're pick two. So yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs just went. So I assume you want Bijan, right?
Yeah. That's what I meant. I mean, if I'm picking this year 1 or 2, I mean, Gibbs is 1 for me, and Robinson's, I mean, almost kind of like 1B. But those two are 1, 1 and 2 pretty solidly for me in any draft this year.
So why Gibbs over Bijan? I actually agree with you. I just want to hear your reasoning.
Well, I first of all, I just think that offense is so much better. So Gibbs doesn't have Montgomery there anymore. Mm-hmm. Bijan, he's got Brian Robinson now replacing Algier. Shouldn't make that much of a difference. He's not even as good as Algier, but you always have a little bit of a risk of a guy, especially a running back, but any guy getting shut down later in the season if the team is really bad. And when I look at the Atlanta Falcons, I really believe that new regime is looking at this upcoming season and they're saying, we need to get our quarterback in this next draft. So I don't think the Falcons are going to be very good. I know they play in the NFC South. But it just worries me because I feel like if we get down to, late in the season, we get down to the beginning of December and the Falcons are kind of like teetering around the 10th pick in the draft, I could see them shutting Bijan Robinson down, even if he, just has some kind of like minor injury, just because I really think it's all about 2027 for them.
Yeah, I agree. And on top of that, the Lions have the easiest schedule in the NFL. According to my power rankings, we call them the SLU rankings because one of our top commenters, SLU, he sends me the second year he's done this. He sent me a spreadsheet of power rankings based or schedule rankings based on my power rankings. So the Lions and Saints tied for the easy schedule, and then the Bengals and the Falcons don't have a tough schedule. I don't think. Well, maybe they do. I don't think they do. But I know that the Lions have the easy schedule, and like you said, better team, better offense. They could really use Gibbs a lot down the stretch, and maybe Bijan. Maybe he'll have a few carries here and there where he won't get the ball. So I think all those are great points. I'd rather have Gibbs, but it seems to be the case that it's transitioned to Gibbs being 1, because I remember at the beginning of the summer, Bijan was more likely to go 1, but now it seems like Gibbs is going 1. And I know that because every time I have the second pick, I never get Gibbs. So that is definitely the case. We had a strange pick at 4. I don't know, maybe you like it, but CD Lamb went 104. I haven't seen him go that high. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a little bit risky. I mean, sure, it could pay off. He's got the talent to be wide receiver 2 overall. But, Pickens had such a good year there last year. And Dak can definitely support 2 top 12 receivers, never mind top 24. But I could see 2 top 12. But, if you're going to make a bet on wide receiver 2 overall, I think JSN is a much safer bet. Puka Nacua, as long as he stays healthy. Puka Nacua, if you're looking at points per game, is right there with Jamar Chase as wide receiver 1 overall. Yeah. And then I think Justin Jefferson's a better bet to bounce back just because he doesn't have, Jordan Addison's fine. Juwan Jennings is okay, but neither of those guys are George Pickens. So I like Jefferson a little bit better as well.
Yeah. I like Lamb. Nothing against him. I just think that's a little too early for him. Yeah, I'd rather have Nacua. I'd rather have some of the running backs even. And as you said, you didn't say St. Brown. I like him more. Jefferson. even AJ Brown, I could argue over Lamb. I like AJ Brown a lot this year, so I
But
think they're pretty close.
then again, who are we to doubt Tom from Facebook? Because or not from Facebook. I'm sorry, from MySpace.
MySpace.
Tom from MySpace. MySpace for the listeners. That's the only website that was on the internet before Walter Football.
That's the
But
only one.
Walter
Yeah.
Football has vastly, outlasted MySpace.
That's true. All right. So I'm up right now. I started Meko Buka. I'm just giving us more time. We have Brock Bowers, George Pickens, Rashee Rice, Josh Allen, Jeremiah Love, Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Kyron Williams, Zay Flowers. Ibuka is going to go here, and Brees Hall, Lad McConkey. So you're going to be up in 2 picks. And so who do you want? I mean, Jeremiah Love just went, and then we'll see who else. But who do you want?
I like Bowers. I know you hate the early round, the early round tight ends, but
Okay.
I could see him having a huge year. He's really not just their wide receiver one, but he's a talented wide receiver one, right? Like we talk about, you look at the rest of those guys, and it could Trey Tucker have a good year? Could Jalen Naylor have a good year? Could Jack Besh take a step forward? I say the answer is no to all of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But Brock Bowers is actually talented. He's going to get so many targets, especially if Kirk Cousins ends up starting, the season like people are saying that he might. He probably will, at least in the beginning of the season. I think he provides a huge positional advantage over most of the other tight ends. And you see Trey McBride went 210. Trey McBride, we talked about this in the past, but he had so many garbage time touchdowns where the team just they had these weird game scripts where they're down 28 points in the third quarter, and Trey McBride would just blow up and have massive second halves. And that's a fluke. That's not repeatable. And Bowers, of course, hurting his knee in week 1 last year, wasn't himself. I expect a huge bounce back. At least you don't have to hear me talk about tight ends for the rest of the show.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it right now. So, yeah, I like this because I don't draft Bowers. I don't think I've drafted him yet. Maybe once, but this will give me some variety, some exposure to him. So I don't mind it. And I do like him more than McBride. I totally agree. In fact, Jacoby Brissett set the NFL single game completion record against San Francisco late in the year because they, as you said, they were so down. And all they did was throw like crazy. And so, he has the record. It's kind of crazy that Jacoby Brissett has that record. But yeah, I don't, it's not gonna be that good this year because we're going to have Carson Beck, I would assume. Brissett's holding out. Like, who knows how long that's going to last. So yeah, I think that's, I would definitely have rather a Bowers than McBride. And, you see Bowers go mid round 2 sometimes. So 302s, for him, I think it's a good bargain. It's not my philosophy to take a tight end early, just because. I mean, there's 2 reasons. One is that it's a single starter position, and 2, there's just so much value this year. But if you're going to do it, I think Bowers at 302 is perfectly fine if you're into that. So, yeah, like I said, I like having some more exposure to Bowers because I don't have any. There was a couple interesting picks in round 3. Devontae Adams went 310. That's earlier than he usually goes. And then Travis Etienne. I know you saw this post of mine. Actually, I saw you like it. Mike Salfino, who is I think a crazy person. What'd you say?
The worst.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was finishing your sentence.
He is the worst. I think he's a crazy person. It's one of those. But he said something like he's like Travis Etienne sucks basically, and I'm like I can't believe it. I agree with Mike Salfino. So yeah, Etienne went 309. I think that's way too early. What do you think about those picks and maybe anything else that stands out?
Yeah, as far as the tweet, I mean, you know what they say about broken clocks, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah. Etienne's being overrated based off of what he did last year in a completely different system with Liam Cohen, who's like the running back whisperer, right?
Yeah.
So now he's in New Orleans. He's got a quarterback who's never going to check down. He's got a quarterback who's he's gonna have rushing touchdowns. Tyler Shuck, and I don't mind Devin Neal. Alvin Kamara's still there. I just don't think Travis Etienne has a lot of value. I think he's like the type of running back you draft in the 5th or 6th round, and
Yeah.
he's going in the 3rd round pretty consistently in these drafts. So I'm not a fan of him. And Devontae Adams is just someone who I was out on him last year. I mean, in round 4. If you want to say I was wrong, I mean, technically I was, because he had a whole bunch of 1-yard touchdowns. He's always been really good in the red zone. So part of that was fluky. Part of that was just he's really good in the red zone. But I'm out on him again. Wide receivers fall off a cliff around 32. I believe he's 33.
Yeah, I think he's be 34 soon, but yeah, he's 33 right now. He'll be 34 at some point during the season. I'm going to take Scatabo. So we have a guy. This guy, Tenacious D Jones, has taken 3 running backs. So I don't think he's going to take a running back. So I still want a running back. So the best next available players, according to ADP, are McLaurin, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, DeAndre Swift, Lamar Jackson, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Quinshon Judkins, Bashal Tutin, Travion Henderson, Joe Burrow, Roma Dunze, Bucky Irving, Carnell Tate. So who do you like here? He has one more pick. He just looked Tyler Warren.
Yeah, for me, I'm just checking my chart here, but Jameson Williams, I mean, especially in best ball, is just, I mean, that's my guy right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to, I know he's not a big volume guy, so he's a little bit flukier in lineup leagues, but in best ball, he has those weeks where he has 3 catches for 200 yards or 175 yards. And I think he's mispriced. I've got him at the top of round 4 in my chart. He goes pretty consistently, I think, in round 5, right, in these leagues. So yeah. I just really like that value. If he was picked right there, I like Terry McLaurin too, to have a bounce back this year.
Yeah, we talked about him yesterday, actually. Now there's a chance that, he could decline because he's in his 30s, but he's not that old. Like, I think he's 31. Yeah, last year he held out, and then he got hurt because of that, or partly because of that, at least. And then Jane Daniels also got hurt, so it's kind of like a double whammy. So I think there's a good chance he rebounds, and really there's no one else to catch passes there. Like Antonio Williams is the receiver 2, maybe. Now maybe they get Deebo Samuel back. Maybe if this whole thing blows over Stephon Diggs, maybe that he comes back. I think Brandon Ayuk is out just based on his posts. Yeah. So yeah, I do like McLaurin as well. I like Jameson Williams more, so I'm glad you chose McLaurin. Just went. I'm glad you just chose Williams over him. So yeah, I've drafted him quite a bit. The team 1's kind of interesting. I said he's probably not going to draft a running back because he took 3 and 3 picks, and then he took Tutin. So we heard about 0 running back strategy, but apparently he's going for 0 receiver strategy in a 3 receiver league, which I would not recommend. Tyler Warren at 412 is kind of early too. You know, that's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I like Tyler Warren to possibly have a big jump forward this year, but part of the issue there is Daniel Jones has to be healthy, or else that passing game is just going to be completely non-existent.
Yeah, that's a big issue. We talked about that yesterday as well, like because we're doing season win totals for the AFC, and I was like, I want to go under on the Colts because Jones is coming off a torn Achilles, and that's so difficult to come back from. I think more difficult than a torn ACL for quarterbacks. And like we saw Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers struggle after their torn ACLs. Now, granted, Jones is younger, but Jones also relies more on his legs than those two guys. So I think he could just be compromised this year. And then, like, who else do you have? You have Anthony Richardson or Riley Leonard, or maybe they get Rivers back again. Like, it's a rough situation there. What do you make of the Colts this year? Like, how do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they overachieved a little bit last year with Daniel Jones. I'd be a little bit surprised, even if he's healthy, if he's quite as good as he was last year. And then if he's not, well, then, you have to hope that Anthony Richardson had some sort of an epiphany over the course of the last year. I know he had the orbital bone injury with the band there at the end of the season. But, I mean, short of that, Riley Leonard's not going to do anything. Riley Leonard is your typical, backup quarterback where you only have to defend 15 yards down the field because he can't throw the ball any
Mm-hmm.
further. I mean, he can throw the ball. He could literally throw the ball further than that. But a lot of backup quarterbacks in the league don't have the arm to fit throws deep down the field with the mustard that's kind of needed. And Leonard falls into that category. I remember back in that draft season, people were talking about him going in the third round. I was like, what? There's no way. And he didn't. So they're in a lot of trouble if they're starting someone like Riley Leonard. And I think with Rivers, that was a cool story, but I think the book's got to be closed on Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, kind of crazy that he extended his Hall of Fame eligibility. Now, like, he can't get in until 2030.
Yeah, I think he gets health insurance for another 5 years, though. And he's got more kids than I do. So
yeah, I know, that's crazy. I'm gonna take Chuba Hubbard here. So, well, I'll read off the top available to you. We have Chris Williams. We have Caleb Williams, Chris Williams. We have Caleb Williams, Tony Pollard, Quentin Johnson, Jalen Hurts, DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren, Tucker Kraft. As I said, I'm taking Hubbard. There's Dak Prescott, Alec Pierce, Chris Godwin, Justin Herbert, Cortland Sutton, Trevor Lawrence, Michael Wilson, RJ Harvey, Kyle Pitts, Matthew Stafford. Do you want to take Chris Williams or Caleb Williams? Who do you want to take here? This guy took Mekhi Lemon, a very curious pick here. And go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of like Hurts, but I'd be okay mixing it up with Caleb Williams if you wanted to, because we draft Hurts all the time. I'm fine with either of those two.
Okay. I like Hurts more, but yeah, I've drafted Hurts a lot, so we can definitely take Caleb Williams here. So
okay.
I don't know where I got Chris Williams from. I don't know where. I think it's the name of one of our chatters actually. I got that mixed up there. So so with Caleb Williams, I'm always looking to stack. So maybe coming back, we can get either Mayfield or Goff. That's what I'm thinking. Raider quarterback, we don't know. So for Bowers, but this guy's picks continue to surprise me. You have Mekhi Lemon's his only receiver. Receiver one's Mekhi Lemon, and then George Kittle. He already had his tight end. He took a second tight end, a guy who's not going to play for a while. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like this strategy from Team One here. Doesn't seem very good.
Something you can't win a best ball league with 3 wide receiver spots with Mekhi Lemon. Yeah. Rookie Mekhi Lemon is your number 1 receiver.
Yeah, that's crazy. Something unusual that also happened. We had Jordan Tyson over Carnell Tate. Usually Tate goes 5th round and Tyson goes around that area. I'm just kind of interested as to like why Tate fell here. Not that I'm a fan of him this year. Like, I think 5th round's too early. Even 6th round I think is too early. I wouldn't have had interest in him at 6'11". What do you think about that situation?
I think as we get into August, of course, camp news is going to impact everything, but not knowing what the camp story is for either of those two right now. And of course, assuming that when camp starts for the Saints, Jordan Tyson isn't like starting on the PUP list or, still is having issues with, the injury that kept him from working out up until right before the NFL draft. So assuming they're both healthy and getting rid of all this camp news that we don't know about yet because camp hasn't started, I think Jordan Tyson will actually start going ahead of Carnell Tate. You mentioned the Saints schedule. Kellen Moore's offenses are fast-paced. Tyler Shuck's got a lot of steam this year. And, even if he ends up not really being that great of an actual quarterback, he's going to push the ball down the field. He reminds me a little bit of Shuck reminds me a little bit more of like a mobile Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston's not the greatest quarterback, but in terms of fantasy football, you love having wide receivers and tight ends when Jameis Winston's playing quarterback because he chucks the ball all over the place. He might throw a couple pick sixes and then they get the ball right back and start accumulating more targets. So I actually think Jordan Tyson should go ahead of Carnell Tate. And we'll see what happens in camp and we'll see how Cam Ward looks and all that stuff. But I think that's going to start to become the norm.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do back in the day when Winston was starting for Tampa was I would stack Winston with Evans and Godwin, and then I would play his defense, the opposing defense against him, because
Yeah.
what would happen was he'd throw a pick six, so the defense would score, and he'd have to come back, and then he'd be behind, so he'd have to throw. And so I remember it was against the Rams in LA. I had Winston, Evans, Godwin, and Rams defense. And that happened. Like he threw two pick sixes, and he just threw like 4 touchdowns in that game. I almost won that whole tournament just because of that stack. It was crazy. I mean, I miss Winston. I wish he would start more. You know?
I think Shuck's got a little bit of that in him to his game. Like he's not going to throw 30 interceptions this year, but I think he's a little bit of a gunslinger.
Yeah, he can run too. So that'll definitely help him in fantasy. I've been drafting Shuck a lot in like round 10, 11. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm glad to see that one of my 2 running backs will be available, either Monangai or Corum. I know you like Corum more, but we have Caleb Williams, not Chris Williams, Caleb Williams. Goddard went 8-10 this early. So I think we can stack Chicago together. And so we drafted Corum the past couple of times. So I'm going to take Monangai here. So I'm going to start him. So I'm going to put the big board up here. According to ADP, the top players available are Doodle, Sam Laporta, Michael Pittman Jr., Patrick Mahomes, Josh Downs, Brock Purdy, Jordan Addison, Jonathan Brooks, Jackson Dart, Blake Corum, Ricky Pearsall, Jared Goff, Wandale, J.K. Dobbins, and then we'll see what this guy does with his 2 picks. But I would assume he took Corum. Okay, never mind. For his millionth running back, and he took Laporta's 3rd tight end. So you're up. What do you want to do here?
Okay. I think we go Ricky Pearsall here.
I like it. Yeah.
He was going a lot earlier last year. He was hurt all year. I talk about recency bias all the time. I think a lot of people are aggravated that the guy's been hurt for the first 2 years of his career, but that doesn't guarantee that he's going to be hurt this year, right? He's healthy right now. And his issues during his rookie year, I mean, he got shot. So, that's as fluky as you can get. Yeah. So I like Pearsall, especially now that Jennings isn't there, especially, at this discount in the 9th round.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. He was going round 6 last year, round 7, something like that.
But by the end of August, he was going in round 5 in some leagues.
Wow. Well, I hyped them up a lot, so I assume some others did as well. But yeah, I was drafting him like round 9, around May and June, and then he rose to like round 6, 7, or 6. And yeah, I guess he may have snuck into round 5 too. So to get him in round 9 is pretty crazy. And I assume that's because, for 2 reasons. One, as you said, he got hurt last year, and then 2, Mike Evans is there now. But like Mike Evans is 33, and he has chronic hamstring issues. So I don't expect him to stay on the field all year. Now, maybe Pearsall doesn't either, but that's only 1 year's worth of injuries. And as you said, like I think some people say, oh, he got hurt his second year, his rookie year too. But yeah, it was him getting shot as you were talking about. So that's not something, unless he like hangs out with a lot of people who shoot other people. That's not something you can predict. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he like tackled the guy who shot him, didn't he? That's like it's pretty tough. So that makes me want to own him. I've drafted him a lot too, so glad we're on board with him. Jared Goff went, so that was one of the 2 quarterbacks I was hoping for on the way back. But we have Caleb Williams anyway, so it's not like we really are desperate for quarterback. Team 1, they took Corum. He's their 5th running back. They only have 1 receiver, and they took Laporta as their 3rd tight end. I think they have 5 running. Yeah, 5 running backs, 1 receiver, 3 tight ends. I guess he is a zero receiver strategy here. It really is. Like Mekhi Lemon can't be your only receiver at this stage. Like I just like, I think we can call this paying the rake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's wild.
This is right. How do you not take Pearsall or Worthy that doesn't. Even if you want to say, hey, Laporta is a really good value in round 9, you've got to take someone other than Blake Corum when you have those running backs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, as the strategy is just so bizarre. Um, so I don't think I asked you about Matthew Golden. He went 10-1. I took him a couple nights ago. He dropped into the 11th round, and I took him. I just watched. I don't know if I told you I'm writing a book just now.
Mhm.
It's called Year of the Bad Beat, and I just watched the Bengals Packers game. It was week 6, I think, and people remember Golden's playoff game, which is pretty good. Mahomes, by the way, 10th round. That's a drop. A Golden, yeah, he had a good playoff game. He also had a really good game against the Bengals. Now, granted, it was an easy defense, but still, I think that kind of like stuck out to me. So anyway, let's just draft right now. Man, Baker Mayfield has the same bye week. I think it's okay. Let's. I think stacking is more important. So anyway, we just need a third quarterback for sure. So anyway, according to ADP, we have J.K. Dobbins, Kyler Murray, Travis Kelce, Aaron Jones, Romeo Doubs. There's Mayfield, Isaiah Likely, Jacoby Crosby-Merritt, Jordan Mason, Casey Concepcion, Ferguson, Jalen Coker, Malik Willis, Mark Andrews, Jaden Higgins, Tyron Tracy, Sam Darnold, Stephon Diggs, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Rodriguez, Cam Ward, Cheeky Bang Bang Okonkwo. So let's see what this guy does. I assume he's going to take receivers here. I don't know how he doesn't. And he's on an auto draft because the timer's ticking down. So who are you looking at with this pick coming up?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be a lot higher than most on Jordan Mason here, at least for the next couple of month and a half or so. I think Jordan Mason's going to be the starting running back. Aaron Jones was pretty much toast at the end of last year, and I love Aaron Jones. He follows me on Twitter.
That's awesome.
But he's over 30. He wasn't good at the end of last year. That's a pretty good offense now with Kyler Murray. I think the starting running back is going to have some value. I know a lot of people are talking up Claiborne, but Claiborne's the type of guy who gets like 5 touches a game. You just sprinkle him in and manufacture touches in the passing game.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying Jordan Mason's going to be a top 12 running back, but I could very easily see him being top 20 and certainly top 24. And we're getting him here in the 11th round.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's going to be the guy there this year. Not on third downs necessarily, but the first, second downs, goal line back, it's going to be him. And Minnesota, just by default, is going to have a better offense this year because, it's going to be Murray instead of McCarthy. So, I like Mason at this stage. Jones just went. I would not recommend drafting Jones, but this guy took Addison as well. He didn't take any other Minnesota players. So I was wondering if he was just stacking Minnesota at this point. But that's the one thing I haven't done yet is look at the playoff matchups. So maybe there's something to maybe Minnesota's easy playoff matchups. I'm not sure. But yeah, so our friend here at number 1 took Young and Darnold as his top 2 quarterbacks. So he needed quarterbacks to be fair, but he still only has 1 receiver. So I guess. Can you call Lemon a hero? Is he a hero receiver? Like, this is very strange to me. I don't know.
But even at quarterback, though, quarterbacks can have big weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have a guy like Joe Flacco who rattles off a few big weeks, but Sam Darnold with that offense, I know Kubiak's not there. The offense is a little bit different. I think it's going to be the same philosophy, though.
Yeah.
Play defense, run the ball. He's not going to be a great fantasy quarterback. Bryce Young, I mean, can he take the next step? It's possible, but I don't know how likely that is. That's a really scary mix that Team 1 has at quarterback, especially considering the situation at wide receiver. Like you said, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like paying the rake.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. We used to have a member on the site called Paying the Rake. I was like, that's a pretty cool screen name. So I'm kind of curious to see how many receivers he drafts. Like, does he fill out his lineup even at this point? It'd be funny if he only has 1. He's like, all I need is Lemon. Watch him be from the future, and he knows that Mekhi Lemon's all he needs to win this. So anyway, I think we need a third quarter. We definitely need a third quarterback. I'm sometimes okay with not taking a a third quarterback, but both our quarterbacks have week 10 buys. So,
Yep.
And part of that's my fault. So that's actually all my fault. We definitely need one. So I'm just looking at some possibilities on the way back. If we how do you feel about Jaden Higgins? Now he could be drafted before us. How do you feel about
I
him?
love Jaden Higgins. I think he could be in line for a big year. I think that Texans are going to use a lot more two tight end personnel. They drafted Marlon Klein in the second round. Kate Stover is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're using two wide receivers, I just think the second guy is going to be Jaden Higgins. You know, you can't line Tank Dell up on the outside. He's like 165 pounds.
Yeah.
And Jalen Knowles, an interesting player, but again, he's more of a slot receiver. So
Yeah.
I love Jaden Higgins.
Okay, I was asking you. I was asking you because Stroud was available, so we could stack the two. But anyway, we cannot do that now. Between Ward and Stroud, who do you like better? They're the only two starters really left.
That's a coin toss.
Yeah. I think we can stack Ward with Gunnar Helm later, so I will take Cam Ward.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to be up after this guy, I assume, takes two receivers. There's Diggs. Brissett just went. Wow. Chris Rodriguez, Stroud, Pacheco, Charbonnet. Cedar Stroud just went. Gadsden, Naylor, you're up on the clock. Cooper, Jennings, Spears.
Did
Henry.
I see Hawkinson?
Hawkinson should be there, I think. Yeah. Do you want Hawkinson?
Yeah, he's got to be pretty close to the top of the queue, right? He's not going to make it back to us, I don't think, right?
No. Let's take him. All right, so we have our second tight end, and I think Gunnar Helm should be our third.
Yes,
just because Cam Ward. So 4 quarterbacks in a row, no receiver. He has 4 quarterbacks and 1 receiver. What is happening here? Oh my God. Anyway, Hawkinson I like a lot. Is he just a rebound for you with better quarterback play? Is that the reason why?
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to get back to the days where, you know, he's one of those few tight ends who could have 150 yards receiving in a game. I think he, you know, his ceiling is probably a little bit more capped, even though he's only 28 still. But you know, the possibility of him returning to form as a top 6 overall tight end isn't complete. The door isn't completely shut on that. And even without that, I think he's probably a pretty safe bet to be a top 12 to 15 tight end.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just like the upside. I kind of like that offense. Kyler Murray is a huge upgrade, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Assuming he stays healthy, of course. We don't know about that. Minnesota week 15-17 is Detroit, Washington, Jets. Wow, that looks pretty good. Although Jets defense will be a little bit better this year. They have Minka Fitzpatrick, Demario Davis, and Tavondre Sweat. They actually have some like real players there.
But also, though, you want to talk about teams laying down at the end of the year. The Jets need to draft a quarterback in 2027 or that whole regime's getting fired. I know they have 3 firsts, but their first is probably the safest bet to be, you know, top of the draft. Week 17, you might see a lot of fake injuries on that team.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the NFL version of fake injuries. just during the game, before the game, not during the game.
Yep.
I wish I could share my team. Well, I mean, you copy paste it in here. We'll look at it. Who Hames? How's it going? And team 1 absolutely wasted Gibbs. Yeah, imagine getting Gibbs on a silver platter and just wasting it like this.
Yeah,
man. But this is one of the worst teams I've ever seen. Like, I mean, his running backs are good. Well, even Jeremiah Love, I'm not crazy about. Williams could be displaced. But he got Corum, so he's both Rams. And then Tootin, and then early tight ends, injured tight ends, not unnecessary 3rd tight end in the 9th round, unnecessary 4th quarterback. I would have been so tilted if we took Higgins here, thinking that like, oh, he's not going to take another quarterback.
And then he does,
right. And then we would see Brissett, and we're like, okay, cool, it's not Stroud, and then it's Stroud. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. So, Yeah, I don't understand what's happening with this team. Diggs just went. That's a weird situation. I would advise against that right now. He's not even on a team. Um, there's been a lot of Chris Rodriguez discussion lately. How do you view that? With you brought up Liam Cohen earlier. What do you make of the Jacksonville situation?
I think Tootin is the guy.
Yeah,
They handpicked him last year before the draft. They talked about how he was a priority day 3 guy that they targeted. The day 3 running backs in that 2026 draft were all 3rd round picks, but there were so many of them that that the league just kind of waited because they're like, oh, if we don't get Jaden Blue, we get Tootin. If we don't get Tootin, we get Scatterbo. I know they're kind of different styles, but there were a bunch of those guys. You even saw guys like BJ Giddens who still have a chance to be good going later on day 3. And Chris Rodriguez is just kind of a guy. So I think he's there, but he'll play a little bit. I'm not going to say Bashal Tootin is going to have 300 touches. I don't think he's built to do that, but I think he's going to be the main guy like Etienne was the main guy last year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't understand all the hype with Chris Rodriguez. He's just so mediocre. And like, yeah, he had 1 year with Liam Cohen in Kentucky. Like Tootin, Cohen drafted Tootin. So we need a receiver. We only have 3 receivers. I'm gonna take Ryan Flournoy here. And now I'm gonna put up the queue. The players. So according to ADP, best players available are Trey Tucker, Alvin Kamara, Denzel Boston, Tony Williams, Dylan Sampson, Dalton Schultz, Adonai Mitchell, Debo Samuel, Tank Bigsby, Brian Robinson Jr., Trey Harris, Geno Smith, Gunnar Helm, Jerry Jeudy, AJ Barner, Dejon Stribling, K. Dotton, Ryan. Yeah, okay, he's up. All right, I was about to say Ryan Fournette. That must be so tired. Stribling. We have our second receiver. Stribling went. Zachariah Branch, etc. And Branch just went. So this guy's loading up on late round receivers. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Denzel Boston right here.
Okay.
He's got the potential to vastly outperform this ADP. He's not one of the top wide receivers, like rookie wide receivers like Tate and Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
But after you get past Tate, Tyson, and Lemon, he's right in that next group. And he's probably got a better chance of being good this year or fantasy relevant this year than Omar Cooper. Because he doesn't have Garrett Wilson, right? Concepcion's there, Harold Fannon's there. But yeah, although Shedeur Sanders is probably not going to support more than one of those guys, there's no reason it can't be Denzel Boston. And just to sort of piggyback off of your Flournoy pick, about 20 picks ago, when I was taking a look at who hadn't been picked yet and what we needed, he was actually my target for 15 too. So that was a good pick as well.
Okay. Yeah, glad you like that. Yeah, I like Flournoy a lot. Pickens could be traded for all we know. And if he's not, all it takes is one injury to him or Lamb. And even still, he's still gonna be the third receiver. And yeah, with Denzel Boston, yeah, he could definitely be the end zone threat. We'll see how often the Browns get to the end zone, the red zone. But although there was a report that Shedeur Sanders is closing the gap to Watson. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know what that even means, but yeah, I did see that though.
Yeah, closing that to what? It's a starter or something else? Like, are they playing like Mario Golf and like he's getting closer? I don't know. but in fairness, Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler. Like he actually literally was a Pro Bowler last year. So it's amazing that he's in QB2 to begin with.
Yeah, every quarterback in the NFL is a Pro Bowler after the first. Figure you've got about 85 NFL quarterbacks, and you've got about the first 70 guys or 75 guys who get elected or get inducted, I guess, to the Pro Bowl. They decide to decline. So after Geno Smith declined, Shedeur was like, I'm all in.
Yeah, Joe Flacco made it too. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy that the 2/3 of the Browns quarterback competition heading into last year made the Pro Bowl. Imagine like going back in time and telling someone that, like,
No.
Flacco, Gabriel, and Shador are battling for QB1, and guess what? Two guys of the three are going to make the Pro Bowl. You'd be like, are the Browns? Do the Browns make the playoffs? Like, are they like what happened? It's like no. Not at all, not even close. So that was so weird. Anyway, we had Grant telling us Atlanta has the best playoff schedule: Washington, Tampa, New Orleans. It's pretty good. That's really good. So, maybe kind of a reason to take Bijan, but I still think Detroit has the easiest schedule overall. So, but yeah, even if you get Bijan, maybe you're not too upset about that. And I'm like trying to think of like Atlanta players you could take late, but there's really no one. I mean, London went obviously way long ago. Bijan, Pitts, and Branch. Maybe take a shot with Brian Robinson. Like maybe Bijan gets hurt and Robinson steps in. I mean, we're not going to do that here because we have Bijan, but maybe that's something to think about. So I'm going to be up soon. Kate Otten went? Oh, he just went.
Kate Otten went, yep.
Okay. Yeah, because we had Mayfield, so I was thinking maybe Otten, but I guess we'll stick with receivers. It's really nothing I like here. And I'm gonna be up soon. We have three quarterbacks, right? So I guess we'll take a third. There's really nothing I like. I'm going to take a third tight end, I guess. Bye weeks. I'm going to take Pat Freiermuth. I think he bounces back with no Jonnu Smith there. But let's get to best player available. I'm not in love with that pick. He just made two in a row. Braylon Allen, Tyreek Hill, Jeremy Bernard, Calvin Ridley, Tua, Ray Davis, Emmett Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Nick Singleton, Njoku, Marshawn Lloyd, Christian Kirk, Colby Parkinson, Katron Allen, Justice Hill. Who do you like? Keisha Butte. Who do you like?
Was Noel still there, or did I see him disappear?
He's there. He's there. We could take him.
Yeah, I kind of like Jalen Noel. I know I talked about how he's more of a slot receiver, and they're going to probably play a lot more with two tight ends this year. Mm-hmm. But I don't love Tank Dell's chances of bouncing back, especially this year. It's a really big injury. And again, when I'm saying that he's 165 pounds, I know I exaggerate a lot, but he really is 165 pounds. Right. And, there's this belief that like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore for wide receivers. You've been following the draft forever. You go back more than about 5 or 6 years. If you were a 165-pound wide receiver, you're not getting drafted until the 7th round or something like that at the earliest.
Yeah.
So these guys who are that small, when they get hurt, they tend to just never bounce back. You saw it with Hunter Renfrow. You saw it with, the list goes on and on and on and on, where these smaller wide receivers just get hurt and then they're kind of done. And that's where I think Jalen Noel could kind of take over that role, and that offense could be pretty good.
Yeah.
And he takes a year or two leap that he could be a solid 17th round pick.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I mean, Christian Kirk is gone. He was standing in his way. Now maybe Tank Dell will as well, but I don't trust him to stay healthy. So yeah, I like Noel a lot. I drafted him quite a bit so far. So I definitely like getting him as well. I just wish we got CJ Stroud as their third quarterback. That would have been nice to pair all those guys together, but what are you going to do? The number one guy has drafted all rookie receivers. So it turns out that has been the strategy all along. He had Lemon, Stribling, Branch, Brazel, and Lance. Bryce Lance, 17th round. Like we've been taking him 20th round. Like, why is he taking him around 17? Like, he's going to be there in 2 rounds. Like, maybe take someone better and then Bryce Lance.
You can't win with all those rookie wide receivers. It's right. This isn't a dynasty. Even if it were a dynasty, best ball league, that would be like, it still isn't good. Look, Brazel's not gonna. He's probably not gonna play that much. Branch, I like Branch, but
Yeah.
I mean, in redraft, Bryce Lance is maybe not even their third wide receiver to start the year.
Yeah.
He could be inactive, or he
Yeah.
could be just playing on punt coverage because he's so big and fast
Yep.
for the first half of the season. So you can't do that.
Yeah, definitely can't draft like this. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking, "Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should do it." Just maybe don't do it. I was looking
Yeah.
at Ted Hurst, by the way. I had him starred because we had Mayfield. So I mean, I don't know what's going on with Tampa's receiver situation. Can't remember who I talked to. Someone told me that they read an article saying that Tampa's receiver situation is not what people think, and I'm like, well, Ibuka is clearly number one, but like maybe the article's writer was saying that like maybe Godwin could be traded or something because Tampa is they're trying to get younger. They moved on from Evans and everything, and they moved on from Lamonte David, and Jamel Dean's gone. So Vita Vea, I believe, is 31, so maybe he's gone soon too. So maybe this is they're going to offload Godwin or something, and then Hurst still see some playing time. So that's just something I had in the back of my mind. So I don't know what to make of that, but so have you heard anything new on the 49ers running back situation behind McCaffrey?
No. So the one thing that I heard that kind of surprised me was Kalen Black. Now, for the college football fans, he wasn't used in a passing role at all. So that was like Black is the thumper, and then Roman Hemby was, he had a lot of carries as well, but he was used in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that the 49ers drafted Kalen Black because they actually really liked what they saw from him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
With his pass game skills, so like pass protection and catching the ball. So that surprised me a little bit, but who knows? Who knows how accurate it is.
Yeah. Would you rather draft James or Black right now?
I like Jordan James, but I don't know if I'm right about that. I mean,
that's good. It's anyone's guess right now.
Yeah.
All right, so top players available. I'm gonna take James. We have Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Nick Singleton, Christian Kirk, Keyshawn Booty, Kamani Vidal, Keon Coleman, Deshaun Watson, Brandon Ayuk, Eli Stowers, Malachi Fields, Damon Claiborne, Darnell Mooney, Cousins, Pat Bryant, Michael Penix, Surratt. Who do you like here?
I kind of like Pat Bryant. I know that he's their third receiver.
Yeah.
He came on as the year went on, though. Definitely outplayed Troy Franklin. I know Troy Franklin already got picked. I think Pat Bryant is very clearly ahead of him.
Yeah,
he was at the end of last year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think long term he's the replacement for Sutton, but this year I could still see him having a few big games sprinkled in.
Yeah.
So I think he's worth a shot, especially if he makes that second year jump.
Yeah, I like Bryant. I like him at this stage. It seems like we're getting a huge discount on him because had they not traded for Waddle, I think he would be going like round 9 or 10 or 11. So maybe it's a little too high. Maybe it's like around 12. But he would definitely be going a lot earlier than this. And yeah, sure, Waddle's there. But, if Waddle, they have Sutton, and then they have the slot receiver, and then Pat Bryant, I think, could get some playing time. He's pretty good. Like, he's pretty impressive. So I like the pick. I like the pick in the 19th round. Just feels like the ultimate buy low on him. And yeah, he could definitely make his way into the lineup. Courtland Sutton has an injury history. Whilst I think he's overrated. So yeah, I like the pick a lot. And then you're good.
Well, I think a lot of times, especially in best ball, when we don't know how the depth charts are going to break, are going to shape up in the beginning of the season because it's the beginning of July still.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people like to take shots on rookies, but I just think that you're better off with a second-year receiver who got picked in the second or third round, than a rookie wide receiver who got picked in, say, the third round. Because you're not usually going to see a round 3 rookie wide receiver break out right away.
Right.
It's going to take some time. It's going to take at least half of a year. And we kind of saw Pat Bryant break out is too strong of a term, but we saw him make a lot of progress and have some good games down the stretch. So, a year or two jump, I think that's just a better bet than like you take a look at I know Surratt and Malachi Fields went after him, but some of these guys aren't even going to play. We talked about Bryce Lance. Xavier Thomas got picked by our buddy over here. He's not going to play.
He's a kick
Lucas
returner.
Burton didn't even play. He was a high second-round pick last year.
Yeah.
Xavier Thomas isn't going to play.
He's a kick returner.
Right.
Like he's not gonna be on offense.
Exactly.
In fairness, though, DraftKings does give you 6 points for a kick return touchdown, but like even still, like it's not gonna do anything for you. And you drafted a non-rookie, Devon Vele. It's like his first non-rookie receiver from Devon Vele.
Yeah, no, okay, he's a second-year receiver, so I'll give him that. But he's like 28 years old. He was a 27-year-old rookie. I think this is his second year, right? Or is his third?
I think it's his third.
Is it his third year? Okay,
I think so.
So he's like 30 now then.
Yeah, he's all rookies and then the old guy. I'm gonna take I want one more receiver. It feels like receivers are our shallowest position, and I'm gonna take I'm gonna make a questionable team choice for our player here, but I do like the player, and it's going to be Isaiah Bonds. Now,
yes,
you like it? Okay,
yes.
glad you like it. Tell me why you like it, then I'll say why I like it.
I was on your channel doing my fantasy football prep last August. When Isaiah Bonds signed, I was like, guys, if you've already had your draft and waivers are open, you should, if you've got big enough rosters, you should try to make a spot for him. And he didn't have that great of a year. And part of that was he played for the Browns. But I said this on your last show, I think. This is a guy who was going to be a second-round pick in the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the police report came out, and he got accused of doing some pretty bad stuff. And so not only did he not get drafted, but nobody wanted to touch him in undrafted free agency. But he got his shot with the Browns, and I feel like casual fans kind of look at it, and they're like, okay, the Browns – they signed an undrafted free agent. Who cares? But this is a guy who had round 2, at worst, round 3 NFL talent. And now we're hearing in May and June, and again, take this with a grain of salt, that it looks like he's taken a huge step forward. Now, even if he hasn't taken a huge step forward, his game is a vertical threat. And this is best ball. So at the very least, he should have some long touchdowns sprinkled in. I love that pick in the 20th round.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. He was a second-round prospect who, went undrafted, and I think people forget about him for that reason. And they're looking at, the Browns had 2 rookie receivers. You would expect them to have big roles this year, at least one of them. Hopefully it's Boston for this draft's sake. It's also Concepcion, who I like. There's also Judy and Tillman. But Judy is just such a big disappointment. I feel like they're going to try to offload him to some team or something. Tillman, he's had a couple moments here and there, but nothing special. Like Bond, you could say arguably maybe the best receiver on that team. And I think there's just high upside with him. And this is something you've said, draft players in the 20th round who aren't owned by anyone else. Like I guarantee if we make the playoffs with this team, no one else is going to have Bond. And what if he's their top receiver this year? Like there's a chance that happens. And, what if Shador actually plays like a roller, which is not going to happen. But in the very unlikely scenario that happens, and I haven't checked the Browns schedule, maybe they have easy opponents. But there's an avenue where Bond does something in the playoffs, and you kind of get leverage off of that. So I like the pick. I think he's kind of like a late round gamble you could take a shot on. There's a couple of guys that kind of fit that criteria. Even though Bryce Lance went 17th round, he's usually undrafted, so that's like another guy I've had in the 20th round, and so on and so forth. But I think that's an interesting pick, and I think I'll make that a few more times. I won't be drafting that often, but I think he's worth a shot for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think there is a 0% chance that Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy will both be on that roster
Yeah,
week one. At
I agree.
least one of those guys is going to be gone.
I agree. Yeah, totally. The reason I said questionable team choice because we already had a Browns receiver, so I didn't go into this draft thinking, oh, let's get 2 Browns receivers. That's a good idea. So yeah. Do you play an underdog at all? I do not. I don't like some of the guys over there. So and plus DraftKings is just I feel like a better platform than underdog anyway. So I don't. Do you play an underdog? Like,
Yeah, I live in Connecticut, so I can't gamble on the NFL draft, which kills me. Underdog is just completely banned here. DraftKings, it's like I can't keep track of what's going on there. So when I go to the beach with my family in a different state, when we drive up to Rhode Island, I sign up for my high stakes FFPC teams and leave it at that.
Nice.
When I'm physically out of the state.
Well, you can bet the draft now on Kalshi. So that's something.
Yeah. In Connecticut, though, I know in Connecticut it's banned in.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's banned in Pennsylvania too. In the past I had to drive to New Jersey to bet the draft, which in fairness is not too far away from me. It's like a 30-minute drive, maybe 25 minutes. And I would always say, I guess you never heard this, but I would the closest point in New Jersey that's like a neighborhood where I won't get killed is the Trenton Thunder baseball stadium.
Oh, wow. Eastern League.
Yeah. So I would drive over the bridge, and then the first exit I would take. And yeah, you pass by a scary neighborhood, man, especially at night. There's always the same guy at the stoplight. He's like going back and forth like this. He's there all the time. It doesn't move. And then, but you turn left and then you go right again, and then you enter the Trenton Thunder baseball stadium, and it's like it's they have the cameras there and everything. Like no one's gonna try anything there. Like there's some cars there at night. I assume from the janitorial staff. But yeah, so I would always park there. Because I used to do rainmakers as well. They banned rainmakers in Pennsylvania, so I'd have to go to Trenton Thunder baseball stadium, enter my rainmakers lineups, and then also the draft. And so I would be there for like a half hour, and then I would leave. And so I was always wondering if like the people watching the cameras in the parking lot, they're like, who's this guy who always comes once a week, parks for half an hour, doesn't leave his car, and then drives off? Like, they're like, who is this person?
You know what? In a minor league stadium is the best place to do that, because minor league season ticket holders, they are a unique breed. So driving to an empty stadium is nothing.
Yeah, that's true. The neighborhood around it is horrifying, but you get the security there, so it's nice. He's asking if we're running another. I don't know do you have time to run another? We could
yeah.
Okay, you want to? Okay, so you can do evens this time. You do evens. I'll do odds this time. So yeah, Dildo, Schwaggins, nice name. We'll sign up for another one here, and then we'll spend more time talking about TV shows than anything. But of course, we'll have to talk about our picks. So let's back out of this. Real quick, do you like this draft? We went running back heavy, sort of. Bijan, Scadabo, Hubbard, Monangai, Mason. Receivers are Buka, Jameson Williams, Pearsall, Flournoy, Boston, Noel, and then Bond at the end. And Bowers, tight ends. Caleb Williams here, Mayfield, Ward, Hawkinson. What do you think about how do you think we did? I'm going to sign up for the draft then.
This is one of my favorite teams we've drafted, actually. I don't see a spot on this team where you'd say, wow, that position is really weak. I mean, at running back, sure, we need Scadabo to be healthy, or Jordan Mason to be the starter, but I think both of those are safe bets. And then, wide receiver, I know we waited a little while. We went early running back, and we took Bowers in the 3rd round. But we've got a lot of really interesting guys who are probably as safe as you can be in terms of the guys who are locked into their 3rd wide receiver roles. Ryan Flournoy is the 3rd receiver for the Cowboys. He's not going to get beat out by Turpin or anybody else, and he's going to have some big games. We don't know exactly where Denzel Boston or Isaiah Bond will be, but we know Isaiah Bond's going to play. We know he's definitely going to be one of their top 3 receivers. And, you would think Denzel Boston will be as well. So I think that we kind of mitigated some of our risk at wide receiver by taking some guys who have a chance to maybe take a step forward, but their floor is really just kind of sticking around as the 3rd wide receiver. And most of those cases, they're decent offenses too. I know that we took 2 Browns receivers. And then we got the high upside at tight end with Bowers, and our quarterbacks are looking pretty good too.
Yeah. I like the team a lot, despite the 2 Browns receivers. You know what I like is that we are guaranteed not to finish dead last because we had that guy drafting first, so he's nailed that for sure. I wanted to keep that on screen just because I wanted to do a video on it later on. I was going to call it like worst draft strategy ever.
Yeah.
Or something.
Maybe he's got a buddy in the league and he's like, hey, we'll have a better chance of winning if there are only 11 teams in this league. I don't know.
Yeah, but he did take good players at the beginning. It's like if you're going to do that, I feel like you don't take Gibbs, you take like Lamb, or you don't take like an 8th round guy because it could get flagged. You take because like it's defensible to take Lamb because he won't get back to you in 212, right? So you could be like, oh, I think Lamb's gonna be the top player in the fantasy this year, which there's a realm of possibility where that happens. So yeah, that wouldn't like cause the league to get to be canceled. But yeah, what I'm saying is like, yeah, if someone's there, okay, we have pick 2. If someone's there, we pick 2 again. That's so weird. And apparently this guy's supposed to be in here. Dildo Schwaggins, are you in here? Or what's your team? But yeah, you take a Lamb or let's say Jonathan Taylor or Hampton or someone like that like you can defend being in round 1. But yeah, you let Gibbs fall in that case. But yeah, so I don't know. I think he just might be a bad drafter. I think that's Occam's razor. Is he just thinks he's just a bad fantasy player. 6. Who are you here? You're Jay Sully. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So we have the 2nd pick, and I will be making the odd picks this time, and Mike will be making the even picks this time. Let me enter draft here. Okay. All right. So as I said, we're gonna spend a little more time on TV shows. A quick rundown is how's this different than Underdog. This is full PPR, not half. And I think that's the only difference. 20 rounds instead of 18. And I think that's it. We start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, tight end, flex, and then you have your bench spots. But yeah, I just think full PPR and 20 spots. That's the only difference, I think. So, yeah, I can read there. Nice. Okay, so let's see if we get Bijan again or Gibbs, or maybe Bobcat King will take Lamb. We'll see. Oh, we get Gibbs. Very cool. It's nice to have both.
Wow.
It's very nice. Yeah, nice to have
There we
both.
go.
Okay. All right.
Also, speaking of television,
yeah,
we've got Sully, the pilot, right, who landed the plane in the Hudson River.
Yes.
He watches Walter football under the name Dildo Schwaggin 69. I never knew that about him, but I did watch a TV show.
Yeah.
It was called The Rehearsal, season 2. It had the guy who used to be on Comedy Central, who would go around like making believe he was helping businesses, but really he was like giving them ridiculous ideas. Good show. He ended up actually flying a plane with a passenger plane
really?
in that show. And he simulated the whole Sully thing before he did that. So
wow.
And here's the real Sully right here at pick 6.
Pick 6, he takes Sam Brown. It's a good pick. What was that show called?
It's called The Rehearsal. So season 1 was, you'd recognize the guy because you used to watch a lot of Comedy Central shows, right?
Yeah, back in my college days, it was like the only thing I had on besides football.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of his Comedy Central show is, but the guy's got a really dry sense of humor. The first season was simulating having kids, and then the second season was just wild. It was about it was trying to increase safety on airplanes. And the season went from being like, oh, wow, okay, this is actually kind of a little bit scary to like, all right, kind of funny and really kind of just interesting more than funny. And then the end was like shocking, like just how far they took it. So
Wow.
pretty decent show. It's on HBO.
Okay. I just finished, speaking of season 2 shows, I just finished One Piece season 2 on Netflix. Have you watched that at all?
No, what is that?
It's about this kid. He's not quite a kid. He's like probably 17 or so, maybe 18. He wants to be king of the pirates, and he wants to get the ultimate like pirate treasure. It's called the One Piece. And there was the former king of the pirates. His name was Gold Roger. He was executed, and before he got executed, he talked about the One Piece. And so he was a little boy at the time, and he grew up wanting to be king of the pirates. And he's kind of like a weakling. He hung out with other pirates, but they didn't take him seriously. And so to prove himself, he found something called the devil fruit. And a devil fruit gives you like crazy like superpowers. Like his ability is like he can stretch like a mile, and like he's basically like Gumby. He can't. You shoot him, like the bullet like bends into him and like comes out or something. Like he's like really strong that way. But like he's got this like crazy charisma to him, and he's always like excited about like the newest things. Like he's like he was just like imagine someone being cryogenically frozen for a while, and then they come out of it right now like 40 years later and like, oh my god, the internet, like like he has that sort of like charisma to him. And so he gathers shipmates, and okay, you're gonna be on, so let's concentrate on that for a second. Best players available: McBride, Pickens, Rashi Rice, Josh Allen, Jeremiah Love, Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Kyron Williams, Zay Flowers, Ibuka, Brees Hall, McConkey. Who do you like?
Let's go George Pickens here. Okay. He's probably not going to have as good of a year as he had last year with CeeDee Lamb banged up the whole year. But, that offense, as I mentioned last time, that can definitely support 2 top 12 wide receivers. I know they did some interesting things with their defense in the draft, but a lot of those pieces are still going to be rookies this year, obviously. So the defense might not be completely rebuilt, even though it should be better than last year.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Pickens, you saw his potential, I'm curious about, I'm interested in drafting Ibuka again, but I want to kind of differentiate. Let's go Devontae Smith, and maybe we can get Jalen Hurts to pair with him, because we didn't do that last time. So I'm going to take Devontae Smith. I like him a lot this year. I like Ibuka a little bit more, but I just kind of differentiating here. So anyway, with One Piece, he quickly becomes infamous, and he's got all this wanted posters on him, but he wants to get to something called the Grand Line, and like from there he can get the One Piece. And you have like the Marines chasing him, and like he gets a crew, and like every person in this crew specializes in like different things. Like this girl, she's like the best navigator. He gets this like this Asian guy is like he's like this crazy samurai. He has 2 swords. He actually sometimes uses 3 swords. He has like 2 in his hands and 1 in his mouth, and he takes on like 100 guys at the same time. There's this chef, but he's great in like karate and like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And then he gets a navigator, a sailor, who kind of like he like specializes in like munitions and stuff like that. But anyway, so it's about their adventures, and they eventually encounter other people who have eaten a devil fruit. So like he's like overpowers everyone in season 1. Like it just seems like overpowered. He's like, how are they going to stop this guy? But like you see in season 2, you see like other crazy pirates eat the devil fruits, and like and so like they like there's one guy has like guns in his hair and stuff like that. Like it's a really cool show. I like it a lot. Season 2 was awesome. We had Libertarian Overwatch on last Thursday, and I hadn't watched season 2. I like season 1. I hadn't watched season 2, and he said something perfect that like I watched season 2. I was like, he was totally right. He said every episode in season 2 is so unique that like you remember it specifically. Like it doesn't every episode does not remotely resemble any other episode in that season, and it's really awesome how they did it that way. So
Yeah, I like when shows do stuff like that.
mhm.
It's not just like, all right, let me hit next and watch the same thing over again.
Yeah, Unreal Show. Yeah, okay. I think I don't know if you're referring to Mike's show or this show. Oh, was it Ben Stein?
No, it wasn't Ben Stein.
Okay.
No. I remember Ben Stein's money though. That was
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in Dan Comedy Central. This
yeah.
guy's younger. I can't remember his name.
Okay. Yeah, the actor they got to play Monkey D. Luffy. That's the main pirate guy. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, the acting in that show is incredible. Oh, they did get Katie Siegel,
Oh,
Peggy from Marriage.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was in season 2. I was like, oh wow, because I didn't recognize any of the other actors. I was like, oh wow, it's Peggy from Marriage Children. That's the only actor I recognized. Although I don't know too many actors. So, okay, so we're going to be up soon, and then let's go after these 2 picks. I was going to talk to you about From, but you haven't seen One Piece. I would definitely recommend that. It's a different sort of show, and maybe it's not for everyone, but I liked it a lot. And like I said, season 2 is even better than season 1, which was pretty good to begin with. Usually you see like season 2 kind of regress for shows, but like here that was not the case. It even got better. So I'm excited for season 3. Like I even like Googled like when's season 3 coming out, So yeah, I would definitely recommend that.
Let's see who we have here.
Oh, sorry, you're up, aren't you? Yeah. So best players available after this pick: Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Dave Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Lamar Jackson, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Quinshon Judkins, Bashal Tootin, Travion Henderson, Joe Burrow. This guy's about to time out. DJ Moore just went. So who do you like?
Yeah, I like McLaurin, but I also really like David Montgomery this year.
Okay.
They talked about improving their goal line offense. That's all David Montgomery. The offensive line's better. The whole offense should be a lot better. Okay, and he doesn't have Jahmyr Gibbs there now, taking all those touches away. I could really see David Montgomery being a value in the 4th round of these drafts.
Yeah, McLaurin just went. I think we need another running back, so I'm going to take Bashal Tootin, who we talked about last time. So, yeah, I like Montgomery. We saw Joe Mixon did there a couple years ago. Now they have a better running back in Montgomery, and they get better offensive alignment. They upgraded that. So, all right. So, yeah, like I said, I recommend One Piece, but From is something that we talked about before. You have finished season 4, right?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you think about season 4?
I love all these shows that are like Lost. I mentioned this last, and for people listening, I don't know anything about TV shows. It's just my opinion is like, but I watched season 4 right after I just finished Widow's Bay, and Widow's Bay has such like a whimsical sort of tone to it. It's the same type of show, but it's funnier, and it's not as like there's some stuff in From that's just like, oh my gosh, it's horrible that they're doing this, but it's a great show. So it took me a couple episodes to kind of jump back into that, like, okay, I'm not watching this kind of like comedy anymore that's talking about like what's going on in this town. I'm watching this horror show about what's going on. But it really hit its stride, I feel like, after the first few episodes. And I sign up for my 7-day free pass of MGM Plus because there's nothing else I watch on that channel. So I binged a lot of these episodes during the week that the finale came out. And by the time we got to like episode 4 or 5, I was like, I could not wait to watch the next episode. And where it ended at the end of the season, it just left me like craving the next season, which is the last season of the show. And I just can't wait to see how this ends, how whether or not they get out of this town, what this town is. I think that there's, I'm pretty sure that the hallucination that what Victor's dad is having is just that, a hallucination.
Yeah.
But I'm slightly curious to see, like, is there something to that? I don't think there is, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's I mean, we saw the man in yellow / Sophia put her blood into
Yeah.
his water. So, and then the hallucinations start after that. So I'm like a 1% that's real, like in the back of my head, is this real? But no, I think it's a hallucination induced by Sophia / the man in black, man in yellow. Sorry, wrong lost type show. And yeah, so and I think that I think it's interesting because part of me, because well, first of all, let's talk. Well, first of all, you're up in 3 picks. Let's I'll put a bookmark there. Your best players available. You have your 3 picks until you go. Carnell Tate, Jadarian Price, Jane Daniels, Jordan Tyson, Caleb Williams, Tony Pollard, Quentin Johnston, DK Metcalf, Ramondre Stevenson, Jalen Warren, Tucker Kraft, Chuba Hubbard, Dak Prescott, Alec Pierce, Chris Godwin, Justin Herbert, Cortland Sutton, who went. Carnell Tate went. So you're gonna be up in 2 picks. Anyone stand out to you here?
No one really stands out to me here. I mean, this is the area where I don't really want to take Jordan Tyson, but he's there. He's not there. Good.
No, he's not there. Okay.
Yeah. Jadarian Price.
He just went. He just went.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, who do you like?
maybe we take our quarterback here.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
You know what?
10 seconds.
Tucker Kraft. I love Tucker Kraft. I know you hate tight ends, so I tried not to take Tucker Kraft. I thought maybe we take a quarterback, but I just love having a guy at tight end who has the potential to go off for 150 yards and have one of those huge weeks rather than just he had 50 yards and on 4 catches and caught a touchdown.
Yeah. So
I like him better in the 7th round this year, though.
Yes, but I mean, 7th round is not too far away from where we were. So, all right, we 3 running backs already. Let's take our quarterback. So, unfortunately, we had Hurts go after Lamar Jackson. I don't know why that guy took back-to-back quarterbacks. I starred Jaden Daniels here, and maybe we could pair him later with Chiggy or Antonio Williams, maybe Debo if we think he's coming back. So we can stack that way. It's kind of disappointing that we couldn't stack Devontae with Jalen Hurts. I don't know why you would draft Hurts right after Jackson. Seems like bad use of resources there by this guy. But yeah. So anyway, we were live action. Yeah, we were talking about the live action One Piece. Yeah. 10-pick drop on Travion in PPR. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Travion this year. Since you brought it up, what do you think about Travion Henderson this year?
Yeah, I'm not really big on Travion Henderson, but in the middle of the 6th round, I like that value a lot because I do think he's got the potential to sort of blow up as the year goes on. I think a lot of people are down on him because of the way he was used last year. But again, rookie running backs are not going to get thrown into these huge workhorse roles. It wasn't really a thing back when they played 16 games. Now that they play 17 games, they don't want to do that to these guys. And you look at Travion Henderson, he played those playoff games with Ohio State. So I know they had Judkins there at Ohio State as well, but he had a lot of work. He had a lot of extra games before his draft year. So they were never going to just let him run with the job. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about Ramondre Stevenson still being the starter as we get close to the start of camp. I think that can change. I don't love Henderson in the 4th round or the beginning of the 5th round. When you get into the late 5th round, though, or this sort of no man's land in the 6th round, I kind of like that value a lot. I like him better than Price for the reason I just mentioned. Everybody loves Price, and he's just got George Halani there. Charbonnet's got the torn ACL, but they're not going to just say, okay, here's this guy he wasn't even really like the full-time guy at Notre Dame because they had Jeremiah Love. Let's just give him 350 touches as a rookie. It's
Right.
not going to happen. And if they try to do that, you see stuff happen like with Damian Pierce a couple years ago, and a number of guys that where teams have tried to just run them into the ground as rookies, and that's what's happened. They just fall off of a cliff once they get to November.
Yeah, they didn't trust Henderson's blocking last year, which is weird
Yeah.
because he entered the NFL as one of the top run blocking, just blocking running backs entering the pros, which is strange. Maybe he's improved, and if he has improved, you'll see more time. But we could just see Stevenson again. I mean, Stevenson's going to get the ball at the goal line, so I don't know. I don't hate Henderson in the 6th. I'm just not a fan. I think I'd rather have Stevenson in the 7th, but either way, I'm not really drafting these Patriots running backs. He's got his supposed to play. Yeah, that's for sure. I'd rarely take him under drag with full PPR. Why not? With Vrabel gone, is the news break? Or do you maybe he thinks Vrabel's going to be gone? I don't think Vrabel's going to be gone. That would be very surprising to me.
That pass blocking deal, though, that's so common with rookie running backs. That's usually, other than not wanting to run a guy completely into the ground over an 18-game season when they don't play that much in college. That's the other thing, right? They have to learn the playbook, and they have to learn all these blocking assignments, and they're not ready for it usually in the beginning of the year. We heard that with Genti actually last year too.
Yep. All right, you're gonna be up in one pick. The best players according to ADP: Chuba Hubbard, Cortland Sutton, Rico Doodle, Jaden Reed, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Addison, Jonathan Brooks, Jackson Dart, Harold Fannin, Blake Corum, Ricky Pearsall, Jared Goff, George Kittle, Wan'Dale Robinson, J.K. Dobbins, David Worthy, Kyler Murray, Rashad White, Bo Nix, Jacoby Myers. Who stands out? Hey, Joe Hubbard just went.
Oh, I was gonna take Hubbard. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's go Cortland Sutton. I don't love Cortland Sutton, but we're getting down to the range now where you're getting a starting receiver. He's going to be the volume guy there because Jalen Waddle is not that. You're almost in the 9th round. I don't hate Cortland Sutton once we get to this range of the draft.
And I'm going to take Blake Corum because we took Monangai last time. We'll take Corum this time. If you had drafted Corum, I would have gone Pearsall, who we had last time, but that's fine. Yeah, so I like getting Sutton here because last time in the last draft we got Pat Bryant, so it feels like we got the big receiver for Denver covered. See, we have some more comments. Plus, coaches nowadays want the rookies learning system. Yeah, that's true. It is a lot different now for sure. Rookies don't get unleashed until week 10, 11 anyways. Yeah, that's mostly true. My bad. I thought he was gone. Rossini took the L. She certainly did for sure. And then seems like the average analyst is down on Hubbard, high on Jonathan Brooks. The hyping Brooks as if he didn't have 2 knee surgeries. Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, he's healthy now. Like, are you sure about that? I don't know. I'd be skeptical. Now, 901 is fine. I think if you're going to hype him up to like round 7, I think that's a huge mistake. 9th round, I think, is acceptable. Like to me, my deal. I want Monangai or Corum. But if both are gone and I need that as like one of those high upside running backs, I think Jonathan Brooks is like a good third option. Is that because, I mean, you said you wanted Hubbard. How do you feel about Brooks, knowing the injury situation and all?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, the 9th round, the 10th round, whatever. That's where you're taking guys where you need an injury. You're hoping for some upside there. But with Brooks, I think it's commentary on the fantasy football community, to be honest. I think that you've got all of these people in the fantasy football community who all want to be known as like the smartest and the best. And they're looking at Jonathan Brooks and saying, oh, wow, this guy was the top running back in his draft class and hasn't gotten a chance to play except for a couple of carries because he's had all these torn ACLs. But yeah, he's had all these torn ACLs.
Right.
I mean, to be propping him up over Chuba Hubbard seems kind of crazy to me. I know he's gotten some love, with minicamp and everything, but what is he doing in minicamp? This is like, the draft analyst version of this is when you see these third down backs show up to the Senior Bowl. It's like, Did you see that guy? And catching balls against linebackers. It's like, yeah, it's practice, and he's running routes against linebackers one-on-one. He's supposed to win. That drill is designed for him to win. If he doesn't, that's a problem. And that was happening with the fantasy football people when Isaiah Pacheco was a rookie. It was driving me nuts because, Isaiah Pacheco might have been decent as a fantasy option for a year, a couple of years back. But they were taking these clips of him beating these linebackers in practice, and they're like, he's going to be a mismatch in the passing game. Isaiah Pacheco was never a mismatch in the passing game. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think a little of that same type deals happen with Jonathan Brooks right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. It makes no sense. Although you said, I'll add one thing to what you said about the Senior Bowl, where like the players get hyped up and everything because of what people see. I'll add, like, if there might be a certain draft analyst who's like, "Oh, did you see that player? He was so great," but then that player wasn't at the Senior Bowl. So,
yeah. Yep. Yeah, I love Jalen Wright that year too, but Jalen Wright was not at the Senior Bowl.
No.
But I mean, it wasn't me who said that.
It was not you. It was not you.
Both my. Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. I almost took a shot at Matt Miller. That was a little bit of a low blow.
I know where you. I know. I think you're. I think I know where you're going.
That guy's got enough problems right now.
Yeah. Well, he might be behind bars soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's crazy. He did the same thing another time. I even tweeted about this. I think people thought I was copying what the other person said. Oh crap, you're up. Hold on. All right, best players available. Bo Nix, Myers, Aaron Jones, Romeo Doubs, Baker Mayfield, likely Shakir, Jacoby Merritt, Jordan Mason, Concepcion, Ferguson, Coker. I'm gonna start Mason just in case. Who do you like?
Do we have a quarterback yet?
We have Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's take Mason then.
Okay. I'm gonna take a quarterback anyway, unless
okay.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything. Oh, I was gonna take Bo Nix because we have Sutton. Never mind. Do we need a quarterback? I'm gonna star him in case I see someone else.
Still, your guy Baker's still there.
Yeah, that's who I starred, but I mean, we don't have a Tampa receiver, so it's not
right.
Man, this guy's not. How do you feel about Romeo Doubs?
Yeah, I think that he's going to be better in New England than he was in Green Bay because Green Bay just likes to spread the ball around all over the place.
Yeah.
AJ Brown's going to be the guy, obviously, but I think Doubs could have some big games. He's the clear number 2 option right now. Kyle Williams doesn't look like he's going to be much of a factor, and then Pop Douglas is he's going to be like a high volume, low ceiling guy. He's going to be the guy who has like 4 catches for 30 yards every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay. Matt Miller said I can't remember who he's talking about. He was talking about some sort of tackle. And he was like, his Northwestern tape was great. And like, he didn't play in the Northwestern game. So yeah, it was pretty bad. It was like 3 or 4 years ago that this happened. And I was like, oh, he just made up stuff like that he said on TV. So that's and then I said his reporting is more questionable than his charities. Let's see, Mike's that's exhibit number 1 on Gibbs will give you 400 fantasy points this year. Yeah, because Pacheco is the backup, right?
Oh yeah, definitely,
yeah. Josh Downs another one's overhyped. Yeah, I just don't want anyone with on the Colts unless it's like a late round value, or I don't even know who that would be, honestly. Like,
yeah,
I think the Colts could really bottom out this year. Like, if Daniel Jones is not right, then we're going to see what we saw at the end of last year, which was 0-7. They started 8-2. They finished 0-7. Like that could just easily continue. And I just don't want any part of the Colts this year. Now, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Jones would be good coming out the torn Achilles. It can happen, but I'd rather avoid the situation just because, like, I always say this, like, unless you're super lucky, some of the players you draft are going to get hurt. Like, it's natural. But like, why would you already chase after players who are hurt or attached to players who are already hurt? Like, you're going to be chasing injuries when injuries are just going to come to you anyway. It's just, I think this is bad strategy to chase injuries. Now you get like a crazy value, like Malik Neighbors right now. Like, I'm not touching him. Where did Neighbors go? He went 403. Like, I'm not touching him in the first 4 rounds. Now,
No.
if everyone thinks the same as I do and everyone passes on him and he's suddenly there in like round 6, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a shot on him around 6. I think the value might be worth it. It may not be the case, but like, at least I'll take a shot because I haven't drafted him at all. But like, why would you waste the 4th round pick on him? Like, knowing that he's probably going to miss the first 4 to 6 games. It just seems like an awful strategy,
Yeah, because he's not going to most likely show back up after missing 4 to 6 games and be Malik Neighbors 5 minutes before he tore his ACL. He's probably going to have a little bit of a ramp up period to getting back to himself, and that might not even be until 2027.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. It seems awful. So, this guy took 2 Browns receivers. Also, he was watching our video and was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let me take 2. Maybe we'll take Bond as well and go full offense, and maybe take Shador. They stack the Browns." Anyway, the Giants schedule 15-17 is a joke. Okay, I don't know what it is. Can you post what it is, Dildo? It's so weird to call someone dildo, but yeah, I would like to know. Playoffs, that's huge for sure. That's kind of one, like, why I want to stack teams as well. Colts schedule is much easier compared to last year. It is, but like, they're just not a good team though, okay, you're up in 2 picks here. Let's see who's available according to ADP. You're up now. Sam Darnold, Chris Rodriguez, Chiggy, Keith Mitchell, Jalen McMillan, Pacheco, Daniel Jones, Gadsden, Strange, Naylor, Bryce Young, Juwan Johnson, Omar Cooper. We have 15 seconds.
I don't love Chig, but we get the stack.
Yes.
So I guess we could do that.
Okay, sounds good to me. I was going to take him if he didn't. So, okay, we need a backup quarterback. We only have 1 quarterback right now. Who I was thinking about Stroud. He went. So our quarterback's bye week is 7, so we can't do 7. There's Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Bryce Young. Of those 3, who do you like the best?
Oof, those 3, that's tough. That's almost kind of like you almost have to bet on Daniel Jones. But I know you can I guess maybe think Bryce Young could have a step forward. I was leaning Bryce Young. I'll just take him, I guess. I haven't drafted him very often, but 13th round's okay. I was hoping for him. So maybe
that's true. I was hoping for Stroud, but we got sniped with Stroud once again somehow. All right. So, what are your thoughts on Achane? I'm having an epiphany on whether or not he's going to bust or not. I loved Achane earlier this summer, and Mike talked me out of it. And I think Mike was totally right. So do you want to talk about why you're concerned about Achane despite his great talent?
Yeah, but I think that he went in the right spot here. I think he went like in the middle of the 2nd round. I think he was going a little bit higher than that earlier.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with where he went here. My big thing with him is Malik Willis is going to run the ball a lot. So some of those touchdowns that Achane would have are going to be gone. And on top of that, Malik Willis running the ball a lot, those are for other quarterbacks, especially for a guy like Tua, those are checkdowns to Achane. And now they're not going to be there anymore. Yeah. Mike McDaniel as well, like he likes to funnel a lot of targets to his running back, and he's not there anymore. So I just think that offense is going to be a mess. I think it's going to be a lot of Malik Willis running around all over the place. So it's going to take down Achane's targets. It's going to take down his touchdown potential. And it's going to potentially increase the possibility of him getting shut down late in the year. That could be another one of these teams that, is looking at the end of the season and saying, hey, we could really use our quarterback in the draft. So, if we lost this game, it wouldn't really be the end of the world. That said, Walt, you made some great points. And number one amongst them is that he's a great player. And, you have to think twice before you pass on a great player when you're in the middle of the second round.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And there's no receivers there. So he might be the de facto number one receiver. But everything you said is true. It's like he might get phased out late in the season, like because they're going to be awful, and that team will be awful. Now, if Malik Willis gets hurt or something, then that's actually it's something you're rooting for if you're an Achane owner, because who's Quinn Ewers is the receiver too, the quarterback too. Did they add anyone? Yeah,
no, it's Quinn Ewers. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you're going to want Quinn Ewers if you're an Achane owner for sure. Which could happen. Maybe Willis is benched after 6-7 games. Like maybe he just sucks, and Achane can go back to catching a lot of dump offs. But with Malik Willis's dump off rate was one of the lowest in the NFL, and it's true for any scrambling quarterback. Instead of dumping the ball off, they're going to run. And so Achane's reception total is going to drop. Also, Mike McDaniel's not there anymore, so. That's a huge difference. What's part of the reason why I love Hampton so much this year is because Hampton is going to get the ball so much, both through the air and as the runner. Like it's going to be a great Hampton year. So you're going to be up in 2 picks. Let me go by ADP. So we have Juwan Jennings, Travis Hunter, Kenyon Sadiq, Alvin Kamara, Jacoby Brissett, Jonah Coleman, Antonio Williams, Isaac Tesla, Fernando Mendoza, Dalton Schultz, Greg Dulcich, Kamara just went, Adonai Mitchell, and Brissett just went. We have Debo, Brian Robinson. Who do you like here?
Let's go Tesla. Yeah, I think he'll have some big games this year. He was so big in the preseason last year that, I knew there definitely weren't going to be enough mouths to feed to support him, or there are too many mouths to feed to support him in redraft leagues where you have to set lineups last year. And Tesla didn't have that big of a role. But he really did look good. In best ball, I could see him having some big games in that offense.
Yeah, I think he's really good in best ball for sure. He's the sort of guy you want. I'm gonna go keep stacking Antonio Williams. We'll see what I was debating Antonio Williams versus Debo, because Debo might be back, but then again maybe go somewhere else. Williams is the least on the roster right now. I don't think he would have made it back to us because he's one of the top ADP guys. So continue to stack with Washington, and hopefully the Redskins have a season like they did in 2024, not 2025. Let's see. We have more comments here. I told my viewers to draft Daniel Jones as a last-ditch backup. I mean, right now, yeah. I think he's from where he's going. I think he's a good value. I would be scared though if he's our QB2. I would be scared if he's our high-end QB3. Then I think that's fine. Giants have Cleveland, Detroit, Minnesota. Well, you have to get past Cleveland, but yeah, then it's fine. Achane gonna be receiver 1. Yeah, he's gonna be receiver 1 for sure. But then you have a lot of risks there as well. Originally gonna draft Achane as my running back 10, although I'm thinking now 12 to 14. Is that PPR standard though? Because it's gonna be different PPR. Yeah, I like him full PPR too. Yeah, exactly. Almost 0% on underdog. Yeah, half PPR and PPR is a lot different. What just happened here? He just got reloaded here. Okay, let's go back here, and we are in round 6, about to be in round 16. Okay, so to pick up what we were talking about earlier, the bookmark there. If you didn't think that Lost and From had the same writers, like it was clear as day now. We had in Lost, we had Jacob versus the Man in Black. Like everything else, like you had the others, you had Ben Linus, you had Widmore trying to get to the island. All that didn't matter. The whole show was a chess game between Jacob and the Man in Black. And lo and behold, the end of season 4, we see the kid in white, the child in white, talking to the man in yellow. And that is the same thing. Instead of Man in Black, we have Man in Yellow. Instead of Jacob, we have this innocent Jacob. We have innocent kid in white. So it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
And what you told me before, it's kind of interesting. I just thought of it for the first time. Like, what if because, well, first of all, let me just emphasize it. Well, first of all, you're up in 3 picks. Let's do that first. It's kind of like all over the place here. According to ADP, Debo is the top guy, then Brian Robinson Jr., Trey Harris, Geno Smith, Geno just went, Sean Tucker, Braylon Allen, Tank Dell, Terrence Ferguson, Tyreek Hill, Jeremy Bernard, Calvin Ridley, Ray Davis, Jane Blue, Cooper Kupp, Emmett Johnson, Pat Fryermuth, Nick Singleton, Marshawn Lloyd, Kobe Parkinson, Kayshawn Allen, Justice Hill, Kayshawn Booty, and some other guys who just went. Brian Robinson just went. So who do you like here?
Yeah, I really like Trey Harris. So I think, you're looking at a lot of 2 receiver sets for the Chargers, and we think that that's McConkey and Quentin Johnston. Mm-hmm. But if Quentin Johnston isn't the second guy, it's going to be Trey Harris, which could actually make him sort of a league winner this late in drafts. Yes. And again, I think his floor is he's definitely locked in as the 3rd wide receiver, and he's definitely going to have some big games for them this year. But 16th round, Trey Harris, I think he's got a shot to really outperform his ADP if something goes wrong with Quentin Johnston.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. He's a pretty impressive player. Just prospect wise, I like them, and I think that he could be a good player. I'm gonna take our 3rd tight end, Terrence Ferguson. He's like a receiver at tight end, and he's got a lot of upside. So I think he's worth taking here. So anyway, let's. So what you were saying? Okay. So what I was saying first was, everyone, it's like a loop, as they've established this. Like everyone was the same person before. You have Tabitha and Jay. They were, or Jade. They were. What was it like? What was the Christopher and was it Samantha? I can't remember the woman's name. But anyway, they kind of get like reincarnated, and they're like the same person in this loop. I think, the Martin guy, the guy's tied up in that dungeon. I think that's Boyd. I think that's the old version of Boyd, because remember what the monsters said. They said they weren't going to kill Boyd. They were going to kill everyone else and watch and make him watch. And that's kind of like he's like tied up. And I assume that Martin saw everyone die in front of him in the previous loop. And I think the woman, the Komodo is what's her name? The Muslim woman. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, who turns into the monster at the end?
Yes. I think that's her.
Fatima.
Fatima. Yeah, yes. I think that's her, and we're seeing her turn into that, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so with Victor, I think Victor is the special guy who needs to die in each iteration. But I think that maybe the monsters and the man in yellow can't kill him, and I think they need someone else to kill him. That's why the man in yellow put blood into his dad's water, so his dad would kill him. Like it's kind of reminds me of Jacob, where the man in black needed to kill Jacob to get off the island, but the man in black couldn't kill Jacob. He needed someone else to kill Jacob for him. And I think that's the same thing. I think the man in yellow needs someone to kill the victor person in each iteration to kind of like win and to like prolong this, and then another loop starts.
So you think it's got something to do with him being the child of like the chosen woman type?
Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's why Ethan might be the next victor in the next iteration, but there might not be a next iteration. I assume there's not going to be. It's because it's the last season, or maybe it descends horribly, and then like in 20 years it's gonna be another one, and we're gonna see a grown-up Ethan, new actor. I don't know, but like I think that's the kind of the loop that happens, and I think they need to make sure that Victor's not killed, otherwise this all starts over. So anyway, that's my theory. I don't know what you think about it, but you're gonna be up in 2 picks. According to ADP, the best players available are Tank Dell, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Cup, Katron Allen, Keishon Boutte, Kamani Vidal, Mike Washington, Ted Hurst, Troy Franklin, Chris Bell, Shador Sanders, Pro Bowler Shador Sanders, Darnell Mooney, Damon Claiborne, Evan Ingram, Kirk Cousins, Pat Bryant, Jordan James, Sarad Penix, Tyquan Thornton, P. Ryan, Emmanuel Wilson, Jalen Knoll, Kalen Black. Cousins just went. Horton's here. Bateman. Who do you like?
I like Mike Washington. I think that role, he's not going to have much of one while Genty is healthy, but he's going to be the clear handcuff. I think sometimes we get kind of carried away this time of the year, anointing rookies as like the clear handcuff. But when you look at that depth chart, it's Genty. It's Mike Washington, who I actually thought was the second best running back in this draft class. I had Jadarian Price. Okay. Not by much, but I had them in the same range. The NFL clearly didn't. But after Genty, it's Dylan Labe. And Dylan Labe is not a real running back. No. He's kind of like one of those, he's a kick returner. You might be able to throw him in the 2-minute drill if you had to. He's not that good. Mike Washington, I think, would be a bell cow if anything happens to Genty. So I just like the upside this league.
Yeah. I'm taking Torrey Horton, his deep threat for Seattle. He looked good at points last year, but he got hurt. But I think he could be decent this year. So, okay. So yeah, that's my whole spiel on from where I think that, it's very much mirrors lost, like to a T with the chess game between those two. So like, what was your impression of the final half of the season?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're so right about that. I keep thinking back to, I'm going to get the quote wrong, but Lost with Jacob and the Man in Black, and when you first see them, Jacob's like, or the Man in Black's like, it always ends the same way, and Jacob's like, it only ends once. Everything else is just progress.
Yep.
And you kind of see that. Well, you definitely see the same thing going on in From. Now you have a lot of great theories. This is what I mean. Like I love watching TV. Like every now and then with my wife, and we'll watch it, and I'll think about it, and then I'm thinking about sports stuff or other stuff. Those are some really good theories about who the different characters we saw in the show might be. So I love that. I just learned something there. I think you're right about, that a lot of that. I bet you end up being proven to be right, actually. But yeah, I love the second half of the season. To get back to your question, I couldn't stop watching it, and I just wish that we didn't have to wait another year and a half. Although I guess, my MGM Plus free membership on Roku will probably need to wait another year to be replenished. So I guess that's the one silver lining.
Yeah, that's true. If it came out in like 6 months, you'd have to actually buy the subscription. So yeah, maybe it's okay. They have to wait. No, I agree. I wish we could watch it right away. But then, you know what? After the season 5's over, then that's it for the show, which is pretty crazy because they talked about how like great a ratings they have for the show. It feels like everyone's talking about it. And it's like if it's so good, like how do you let this end? But I mean, if you can't keep prolonging a show, then you have you delve into like utter nonsense, as we've seen in some shows. Like I don't know if you ever saw Desperate Housewives, but
I had a girlfriend at the time that liked it, and oh my gosh, I used to watch that show.
So the first season of that show I thought was great. But and then second season was fine, third season was fine, but then like it got so dumb at the end. I just couldn't watch it anymore. And that's kind of like what you have with some shows. Now it's not always the case. Like Breaking Bad was always great, for example. But you even had like The Wire. The Wire for 4 seasons was amazing, but then 5th season it just like they kind of like ran out of ideas, and it just was pretty lackluster at the end. So.
Now, do you think From will have a happy ending? Because I don't know. I mean, that show does some messed up stuff, so I don't know what to think.
I think it's done so many messed up things that I think they will have a good ending of sorts. Not for everyone, but I think that I think Boyd will not make it, but I think the Tabitha and her kids will make it. But you're up, by the way. I don't know if you like anyone here. Hill, Hurst, Claiborne, Pat Bryant. You can see this on the screen, I'm sure. So
yeah, let's go Pat Bryant again. I know we have Sutton, but it's the 20th round, right? So
yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty decent 20th round pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Gabby. Gabby from Desperate Housewives. Yeah, for sure.
Which one was that again? Was that Eva Longoria?
Yeah, Eva Longoria. Yeah.
Okay, Eva Longoria made a cameo on another show that I used to watch. This is not too many people I think watch the show, but any chance you used to watch Children's Hospital on Adult Swim?
No.
That's a funny show. That show is great. She was on that for a couple of episodes.
Okay. No, I never heard of it.
It just makes fun of all the medical dramas, but in like a totally ridiculous way.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I never heard of it, but I was never a fan of medical shows.
Me neither.
Okay. I'm kind of curious if it's the same reason. Like for me, I just don't like to see hospitals. Like it's like it's a place you don't want to be. If you could be there because you're hurt, or you're there visiting someone who's hurt. Like I don't want to see stuff from hospitals. I just don't want to see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but that's how I feel about it.
No, and especially if you think about when a lot of people watch TV, they're settling down for sleep. I don't want to see somebody coughing up blood.
Yeah.
With like while I'm like trying to relax and go to sleep. But Children's Hospital is not like that. It's just a totally ridiculous comedy. Like, for example, there was a spinoff. It was on Netflix. It was called Medical Police. And there was an episode where this guy was trying to get away. So he jumps onto the back of a truck. And the guy who's trying to stop him grabs his legs. So the truck is trying to drive away, but you see the wheels spinning and the truck can't drive away because the guy's holding onto his legs, which is just stupid, like nonsensical humor. It's just like hilarious. And then it ended, I think the guy's legs ripped off. And that was the end of it. But just like stupid comedy that's hilarious though.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I'll check it out. I always like the stupid comedy stuff. We had a question: do you keep Breece Hall or Bucky Irving? And I assume Dynasty. Did he ask anything else? He's I traded my first, second, and third last year, but I have Josh Allen, AJ Brown, Rashee Rice, Kenneth Walker, Bucky Irving, and George Kittle as my keepers. So he's wondering if you would keep Bucky or Breece Hall. I would rather keep Breece Hall. I think he's more talented. The Jets obviously are not going to be good this year, but next year they could be in the running for Arch Manning or Dante Moore, and they have two good offensive tackles. They have a great guard. The other spots on the line aren't amazing, but let's say perhaps they'll get another one, and then they get a good quarterback. Suddenly, Breece Hall's looking pretty good. So, what do you think?
Definitely. So, I think in Dynasty sometimes we have a tendency to get too carried away with youth and ages, and Breece Hall's not that old. I know in running back terms, this is his fifth year, I think. I think this is his fifth year.
Right? I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, he may not play for another 4 or 5 years, but and Bucky Irving's a little bit younger. But I kind of look at a situation like this as just who would you rather have in redraft? Because it's not like one of these guys is 29 and the other one's 22. They're relatively close in age, and you'd rather have Breece Hall in redraft. So as a dynasty keeper, I'd take the player who's going to have the better year this year. We're in dynasty. It's kind of an extreme example of this, but Andrew Luck used to go really high in dynasty startup drafts. And I'm talking about one quarterback dynasty startups.
Yeah.
And it was because even though he played a position where you could just get, anyone, quarterback, we see it here. We see it in every fantasy league. It was like, okay, Andrew Luck's going to be the guy for the next 17 years. So he was going ahead of guys like Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, players who end up and playing a lot longer, because the bottom line is we can't project what's going to happen 7 years from now. And when you look at Breece Hall and Bucky Irving, it's not the exact same, but it's kind of similar. You could project that both of these guys should probably be playing for another 2 or 3 years. After that, we don't know what's going to happen with any running back after the next 2 or 3 years. So just take the better player, Breece Hall, and throw Bucky Irving back into the pool.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely agree with that there. So good luck, Kyle. So, all right. So to get back to, for a few minutes, to finish what you asked before, like, I think Boyd will sacrifice himself in some way to save everyone. And I do think Tabitha will escape with her kids. I think Jade will live, just because those two have been kind of linked, you know. And Victor, I think, will live as well. So, and I think Victor will finally leave for the first time. You're like, oh, what's he gonna do? No. Yeah, I do think it'll be a happy ending. You know, the man in yellow even said, oh, you're gonna find the bones for the first time. So I think that might be the difference. He didn't seem to care too much because they don't really know what to do with the bones. At this point, they have them. They just don't know what to do with them. But I assume they'll figure it out. I think the child in white will tell them in some sort of fashion. And I think the what's her name, Sarah, the one who tried to kill Ethan in season 1. I think that's her name.
Oh yeah, yep.
I think she'll even the priest, the father, or whatever his name was in season 1, he even said that you're really important because you have this connection that no one else does, which is maybe that's Locke, the Locke from Lost, who had the connection to the island.
Do you think she's gonna like be some kind of key to like sacrificing herself to get them out of there and not redeeming herself for what she did, or no?
I don't think she'll necessarily sacrifice herself. I think she'll come up with the correct information on what to do with the bones.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she'll help in that way. But I don't think she'll leave, though. I think she'll be like, I can't leave just based on what I've done.
Do you think they'll tell us what this place is, or at least hint toward it, or not really?
Well, they didn't Lost. The reference with the wine bottle. It's I hope yes, but there's only 10 episodes left. It's like Lost's final season at 16. This is 10, so there's less time. Also, Lost did flashbacks. Now this did occasionally, like with what happened, like when Boyd first arrived, for example, they've done that, but they've never shown what happened before each character got there. Like they never, like, yeah, they explain, like the Tabitha and her husband are going to get divorced and everything. But they never showed us anything. They never showed flashbacks, never showed Thomas dying, the immediate reaction to that. They never showed anything else. They never showed Boyd before he got to this village. So are they going to have an episode where they totally flash back and show maybe like the genesis of the man, the boy in white and the man in yellow, like they did with Jacob and the man in black? Like they were the two brothers of that woman who came. Like we learned about that. I don't know if we're going to learn about that just because like there's not much time left. Like if they suddenly announce like, oh, season 10 is going to be season 5 is going to be broken up into 2 seasons of 8, like maybe then I'll be okay, cool. We're probably going to get it then, but with only 10 episodes, it seems like very difficult for them to do anything like that,
And the funny part about that is I remember when Lost, because I was, we talked about it, we both watched it when it was on. And I remember finding out that last season, I think it was the 6th season, right?
Yeah.
I remember finding out that it was only 16 episodes.
I know.
Like, oh, it's only 16 episodes. And now, you watch shows and I'm like, oh, hopefully this season is 10 episodes and not 8,
well,
I think from every season is 10.
10.
Is that
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope they're like season 10, season 5 is 2 seasons of 10. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that'd be cool, you know. But we saw the other end of that. We saw Game of Thrones go to 7 episodes. Or no, sorry, it was 6. The final season was 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And you know, One Piece, you know, as much as I love it and I still would recommend it, but season 2 is only eight episodes. And I assumed it would be like the normal 10, and then like episode 8 ended, and it's like, oh, next season coming soon. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me, you know? Like, oh
Yeah.
man, because it's, and then the season 2 episode 8 ended on such a like a high note of sorts. I was like, oh, I want to see what happens next, you know? And then like, nope, season 3 coming next year.
Yeah.
That sucks. But no, I hope they do something like that where, like, you know, 2 seasons of 6 or 8 each, you know. That would be really cool, because then we would have more. We would have, first of all, more from, and second, you'd have a higher chance of learning what this place really is. You know, what like dawned on me is like, I wonder if anyone ever moved the you know, the tree that falls down on the road, like.
Mhm.
Has everyone like oh, let me walk around and see if there's like a gas station like what happens if they do that, you know? they never go into the village and they just walk past the tree.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I just thought of that. But when I was rewatching what I told you, I was rewatching the fan reaction to it. I was like, oh, what happens if they just go around the tree? Like, it didn't seem like that impassable. Yeah, I mean, you can't do it, you have to drive off road, but you know, I feel like you could maybe go around it. I don't know, or
Yeah.
walk or something. Or I don't know if the tree is accessible to the people in the village now. I feel like once you turn around, you're stuck in that loop that they were talking about. But
Yeah.
I was like, if they can go back to the tree, why don't they just move it? But I don't think they can go back to the tree. And I wonder if you stay at the tree all night. I wonder if the ghouls come out. The one issue I have with the rewatch is they call them monsters and vampires. like the monsters is fine, but I googled or the definition of ghoul, and ghoul is a demon-like creature who feasts on the flesh of humans. I'm like, that's what they are.
That's
So
what they are. Yeah.
yes, I call them ghouls. I think that's what they should be called. I was like, they're not vampires.
No,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah. Although they come in at night and they need to be let in, right? So I could see why they made that connection. But and they even talked about just watching True Blood. So it's like, okay, I get it. But no, I can't wait for season 5. It's gonna be awesome. You know what I figured out too. Remember the guy who went through the tree, the teleportation tree?
Oh, yeah, and he ended up inside the pool.
Yeah, in that side of the pool. You know what I missed? I was talking to someone about. So, you know, I was talking to someone about this. Well, this wasn't me. He said that like the tree isn't random. It takes you actually where you want to go. Like in season 1, Victor takes a stone and throws it into the tree, and it lands right behind him. It's like Victor wanted to show Ethan that this tree teleports, and he got the proof right there. The guy, Dale, the guy that got stuck in the pool, he actually said right before, he's like, I'm going to be poolside, you know, like drinking something. And he was in the side of the pool, literally. The tree took him literally. Yeah. And like, I remember when Tabitha wanted to leave, she wanted to leave. It let her leave. It let her go to the lighthouse. So like, actually, yeah, you got it.
Didn't Boyd go in the tree and end up in that like cavern place, or was that not the tree?
Yeah, it was a tree, and he ended up, he ended up in that dungeon, with Martin. I don't know if I just think he needed to escape or something. He said he needed to be safe or something. And the same thing happened with Julie. She said she's like, I need to escape or something. And it took her to like the basement or something. So the tree in every instance, it followed the directions of the person where like wishing where they wanted to go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm also wondering about the pool, at the pool where Dale got stuck, because Victor's father, when he first arrived, he's like, he pointed it out, and I'd be like, no one talked about it, because there's a sign that says motel and it says pool, and he's like, the sign says motel, but there's no motel. Like, but there is a pool, even though the sign says pool. So where's the motel? Like, why is there no motel, but there's a pool there? And I wonder if if they fill up the pool, it'll serve as the Lake of Tears.
Oh,
I,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't. Maybe that's a crackpot theory. I was
No,
just
that
thinking,
makes sense.
of it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm way off, but like, what would be the Lake of Tears? And like, why is there a pool there? And by the way, when Jade was having the vision with the mushrooms,
Yep.
I don't know if you saw this, but where it says hotel and motel and then pool,
Mm-hmm.
instead of motel, it says answers. But this still says pool. And
Okay.
so it's like, is that the way out? Is the Lake of Tears, is if you fill up the pool, is that the way out? You know? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I didn't catch on to any of that stuff. So that's great. I'm gonna tell my wife tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, we missed that. So
you came on for
awesome.
a fantasy show and we talked about from
yeah,
theory.
no, those are some good theories though. I like that.
I think way too much about this stuff.
No, that's great. You know, Ray is like that. Ray
yeah.
does. He was like that with Stranger Things. He'd be like, "Oh, who do you think's gonna?" I'd get like a random text in the middle of like the workday, like, "Who do you think's gonna die in season 5?" I'm like, I've got, I don't know, but it's fun to think about this stuff though.
Yeah, it's a shame Stranger Things kind of devolved into garbage, because season 1 was one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. Season 2 was fine. I think season 4 was good, but season 3 was bad. Season 5, I couldn't watch it. It's just like felt like a bad epilogue, so I never watched it. Did you watch Something Very Bad's Gonna Happen?
Not yet. You told me about it, so I need to check that. I watched the other one that the Duffer Brothers didn't write it.
The Burrows.
I wasn't a fan of that.
Oh, you weren't? Why didn't you like it?
So I think I was expecting something great. And I was expecting something like drawn out over the course of a few seasons.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised how quickly it moved. And it seemed to kind of like answer every question that it posed within the next episode. And it felt like it had that like cheesy type of Lost show feeling. Like, Wayward Pines. I don't know if you remember Wayward Pines on Fox.
Yes.
Kind of like, that was kind of like trying to be Lost, but kind of just cheesy. That's kind of how I felt about the Burrows. And then when it was over, I was like, this just should be over. I don't want to watch any more seasons. Like, there's just some weird storyline. Like, Gina Davis is dating some like 25-year-old dude. Has
I know.
a huge crush on Gina Davis. It's like 75 now. He just didn't. I don't know.
She couldn't move her mouth. Like, it was like listening to her talk was so bad. Like, she had so much Botox that she couldn't move her mouth. It's painful. It was painful.
And I mean, hey, good for her. I mean, she looks great for a 75-year-old.
Absolutely.
But I mean, she's also 70, 75 years old. So I don't know. It was a weird show.
Yeah, I know. I was like half expecting to be like, I'm thinking about having kids. What do you think? I was like, and she's like, do you know how old I am? Does he think she's like 48 and like maybe she can do it? Like, I don't. It's like what's he doing here? Why is he dating a 75-year-old? If you like an older woman, he's like, he was like 25. He's like, you could date a 36-year-old and have kids. That women can have kids at that age. It's dangerous, but a little dangerous, but still you can do it. But like, why date a 75-year-old? That's it was very, very weird.
It was weird. The whole thing was just kind of weird. And they killed off Bill Pullman in the second episode or the end of the first episode. I don't know. Bill Pullman's cool.
That was it's questionable. I liked it. I didn't love it. But it was fun. It was a fun show, I thought. But that Something Very Bad is going to happen is a lot better than the Burrows, for sure.
Okay.
Much, much, much better. And it's like creepy vibe to it. They definitely don't answer everything. And I think that there could be, I don't know if they announced it, but well, I think they could turn into a second season if they wanted to. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. It's based on how it ended, but it was it had a very like ominous vibe to it the whole time. Like you just watching it, you were like, this like I got this like sense of dread. I'm like something horrible, like as like the title of the show, which is perfect. It's like something horrible is absolutely going to happen to these people. Like you just felt it, and there's so many weird things in the show. There's a lot of misdirection where you think like it's going to go one way, then it goes another way, but in a good way though, because like the first half of the show, you're thinking something else. Like you're thinking like someone else is going to do something to these people, but then it turns out to be something else completely. You do get a flashback episode, which was pretty good. It actually that it did explain a lot. Didn't answer everything, but it explained a lot. So, and it was a good segue into the second half of the show. So I was a big fan of that one, much more than the Burrows for sure.
Yeah, you told me about that. That one's definitely on my radar. We just haven't had time to watch it. We've been watching the show with John Hamm. I don't know. Everyone's like cheating on each other and drinking. They're all a bunch of rich people.
Is that man?
No, not that. The other show with John Hamm that's like that. It's on Your Friends and Neighbors or something. It's on Apple TV. I don't know.
I need to renew my Apple TV.
They really have some good shows. They really do.
Yeah, they do. Severance. I did watch that one, but the one you were telling me, Widow's Bay. I wanted to watch that. And yeah, this one, I saw a preview for it. I'm like, oh, Apple TV again. Maybe I'll bite the bullet. My wife will yell at me, but I could lie and say, oh, the NFL is doing Apple TV this year.
Yeah, they probably are for like one random game.
Probably, and that's why we have Peacock. That's my excuse for Peacock. It's like, oh, we have Peacock again. I was like, yeah, they NFL games. She's like, oh, okay, it's a business expense.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of good. There's a show. I think it's called The Black Box or something like that. It's like a sci-fi kind of thriller on Apple TV. I don't think I've ever really watched a show on that channel that I thought was bad. Like they just churn out. They don't have a lot of shows, but the shows that they have are really good. It's like the anti-Netflix. Netflix is like, here's 1,000 shows. Here's 100 million dubbed British and, well, I guess not dubbed in British, but dubbed like Danish crime thrillers.
Yes.
And then,
they're all the same.
And they're all the same thing, right? And Apple TV is like, here are 4 shows for the next 3 months, but they're all good.
Yeah. I'll have to. I think I'll do it. I don't know. I definitely do want to watch Widow's Bay. So, the more I think about it, the more I'll do it. We did have a question. Favorite week 1 quarterback stack. I assume this is for DraftKings, DFS. I would be looking at Baker Mayfield with Meko Buka. Maybe want to put a Kate Otten in there because they play Cincinnati. And Cincinnati, I like Cincinnati better this year. I think their defense will be better than it was last year, but it's not going to be great. And Cincinnati week 1, week 2 usually pretty bad, so they could be playing catch up. I also like the other version of that. If you want to go Joe Burrow with Chase, I wouldn't do Chase and Higgins because they never seem to have great games at the same time unless it's like very, very rare. You could stack the whole game. You can go Mayfield with a Buka, Chase and Otten, and that could be a good stack. That's what I'll be looking at. Any thoughts, Mike?
How about Tyler Shuck and Chris Olave at the Lions?
Oh,
kind of like that a little bit too.
Yeah, and you could run it back with Gibbs.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you can go with Shuck, Olave, and Tyson maybe, or Juwan Johnson. Actually, I like throwing the tight end in there because
Fant's there now too. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if all those guys are going to be there in September, but
right. Yeah, I like that too. That'll be. I think the Saints will be competitive in that game. I do think the Lions will win, but I think the Saints will hang around. And anyway, you want to have the quarterback on a losing team when it's going to be a close game and they're going to throw a lot in comeback mode. So that would be the Saints. I think that would be the Bucks. We got a question about do we like Caleb plus Loveland? Carolina's defense could be a lot better this year. They signed Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips. Derek Brown's healthy. So I think it's okay. It's definitely a way you can go. It's not one of my favorite stacks, but you can play it. If you're running 20 lineups or more, you can have a couple of bear stacks in there, especially if you're 150ing it. I don't know if you're an MME player. I like to do 3 max usually. So I don't think I'd get to the bear stacks in if I do 3 lineups, but if I were doing 20 lineups, I'd almost certainly get to like one bear stack, maybe not almost certainly, but it would be in consideration. I'd mostly concentrate on, like Mike said, Saints, Bengals, Bucks. I think Eagles would look good with Jalen Hurts, with Goddard and Devontae Smith. You could run it back with either McLaurin or if you're doing Goddard, you're not gonna do Chiggy, but you could do it that way. Chargers, I think, would be fine. I'd be looking for Hampton in that game, but if you think it's going to be close, which I don't think it will be, but if you think it's going to be close, you could do Herbert. The Packers defense is going to suck if Parsons is not there, so you could do Murray with Jefferson. I think that's good too. Anything else stand out? Not really. I don't see anything else I would necessarily love to play. Maybe no. I was gonna say the Raiders. Nah, I don't like it. Yeah, I think that's where I would go. If you want to take a chance and expect a lot of garbage time, like we saw last year, you could do Brissett with Harrison and McBride and run it back with Hampton. Because we saw a lot of garbage time from them last year. And we said earlier in the show, Brissett he has the career record in the NFL for completions in a single game, which he did against the Niners. And what if he does that again? What if the Chargers go up 28-7 and Brissett's just throwing over and over again in the second half? I would run a couple lineups like that if you're doing 20. So those are my thoughts. Still early though, obviously, but that's where I would lean right now.
The one thing with that Loveland matchup week 1 though is Nick Scott's nothing special, in pass coverage, and Trevon Mayrig was really signed because he's good in the box. So you've got JC Horn there. You could neutralize a Dunze, or I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be shadowing Luther Burden, but I'd be looking, if you are going to go Bears, I think Loveland makes a lot of sense, or Burden.
Yeah, you could do both. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mike? I know it's 1 a.m., so it's kind of late. So, anything else?
No, fun. A couple of good drafts here.
Yeah.
Got some theories to tell my wife about with From in the morning.
You'll have to tell me what she thinks about my theories. Your site's not coming up. I was gonna post.
Yeah. Ray and I have decided we're going to transition to a Substack or something like that next year. We've had our site for about 20 years, but it's a hobby for us. We don't have the time to do it full time. So we're going to go to something where we're not spending $400 a year on hosting, a website that we barely use.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, hosting can be expensive. Yeah, I definitely know that. So, okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, you'll have to let me know where your Substack is, so I can promote it whenever you have it. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching the show. Really appreciate you guys commenting and everything. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com. We have Tom coming on tomorrow. I'm sure he's going to brag about the Marlins. He was betting the Marlins at 70-1 to win the Super Bowl. They won Super Bowl, World Series. They won 6 in a row, I believe, and I think they're ahead of the Phillies now in the wild card, or maybe they're tied with the Phillies. So he's been all over the Marlins and deserves credit for now. Hopefully that continues. Cesaros is about it. All right, Mike. Great. I love having you on as always. Yeah, we'll have to do this again in a couple weeks. Actually, in a couple weeks, I'll be in Las Vegas, so maybe in 3 weeks we can get together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great. It's always fun, and we're gonna be looking at the start of camp around.
I know. That's crazy. So we'll definitely have some new theories. On the on players to draft and everything, and that'll be a lot of fun. So, all right, guys. Once again, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.